between them in sub-region play?
Well, Gary, this is a key game for both the Rockdale and Shiloh squads, and the fact that this is a game that would increase moral support or the morale of the team for Shiloh or Rockdale, depending on who wins the ball game. And especially, Coach Pruitt will be looking at Mike Norton and the way he was pitching. He pitched very well against Heritage on Saturday up until the 6th inning when things kind of became unraveled there. They intentionally walked Chuck Patterson, and it ended up leading to 5 runs.
All right, we've got the head coach for Shiloh, Glenn George. Coach George, thank you very much for coming to the broadcast booth here at Rockdale's fine facility. And, of course, we'll talk about that field dedication to the Rockdale County fans as the game progresses. But, Coach George, introduce today's starting lineup for the Shiloh Generals.
Okay, today's starting lineup will be Robert Upchurch. He is a sophomore. He'll be playing second base. Scott Oates, which is a senior, he'll be playing center field. David Baranowski, a junior, will be playing at third base, and he leads our team in home runs with 5. Pat Scarab, another senior, he'll be at first base today. Trace Neighbors, a junior, will be DHing for Donald Miller, our shortstop, which is also a senior. Boyd Green will be in right field today, and he is also a senior. Batting 7th will be Jason Keith on the mound. He's also a senior. Catching behind the plate will be Chad Herron, which is also a senior, and Scott Marty will be in left and bat 9th for us.
All right, Coach, before you get back down to prepare your team before they take the field and bat first here in the first inning here as Mike Norton, the starting pitcher for Rockdale, warms up, what basically went on the downhill slide for Shiloh this year? You guys have a lot of mixture of young talent coming up, and of course next year you really are supposed to have a beefed up squad. You got some decent pitching, but tell us what went wrong in the sub-region. Was it just that tough, or just some bad breaks happening for the Generals this year?
Well, basically it's a tough sub-region. We knew going into the sub-region that we had to play outstanding baseball. Our biggest problem this year is just we couldn't find any consistency. You know, we'd play good one ball game and play bad the next, and I think somewhere down the line you got to be able to put together 3 or 4 wins to get you going into the sub-region, and we could never find that consistency. And then we went up to Clark Central the first ball game and got beat. And this sub-region, you get 2 or 3 behind, and you start working a little bit. You're still in there, but then you got Newton County and Clark Central that played the whole first half of the season. They were both 5-0 when they went in their ball game. So I think with our lack of consistency and the hotness of Clark Central Ball Club and Newton County were, the 2 main factors.
Coach, you played them both. Who do you like in the sub-region south? Of course, you got 4 teams. Heritage, of course, which is a crosstown rival to Rockdale County. You've got Parkview, which is always a tough lug-nut team that always is a perennial powerhouse in the sub-region playoffs. And now you got Clark Central and Newton County back again. Is Clark Central that good, undefeated, or do you think they're the team to beat in Region 8 quad?
I think you have to pick them as a team to beat simply because they got all the elements. Coming in, we knew that Clark Central was going to swing the bats real well, and they have. They continue to swing it as well as they did last year, but I think where they've been improved is on the mound. They have 2 good pitchers that we saw during the season, and both of them did an outstanding job. Obviously, Parkview, they're going to hit the ball real well. Newton County, they're playing on pride and tradition, where they've won the region the last 2 years, so you can't count them out. We played all 3 of those teams, and they're all good ball clubs. But I think you got to kind of give the nod to Clark Central.
Well, Coach George, we want to thank you, and we welcome the Lawrenceville and the Snellville, as well as all of Gwinnett County listeners to our broadcast, East 105 AM, and we want to thank you very much for coming up here. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you having us and the support you give in high school baseball.
Thank you very much. Glenn George, head coach of the Shiloh Generals, and Kevin Holden, before we pause for a station break and identify some of these sponsors, your comments on Rockdale that lost the first time against Shiloh 8-7, but here's a team that has not won a sub-region game. They're trying to break a skid, 14-game losing streak. This is a game where it's balls of fury time for the Rockdale Bulldogs with just 2 games left and basically the regular season. And this is no win, no loss situation where they just had to go out and play loosey-goosey baseball, have some fun.
This is also where Coach Pruitt is going to be testing his players a little bit to see if they can play that loosey-goose baseball to be able to win a ball game here. 0-10, as you mentioned, in the sub-region, and of course that's very demoralizing, but Coach Pruitt needs an upswing, and this might be his game to get it.
All right, we're going to take you back to the studios, East 105 AM Sports exclusive, for identifying some of our sponsors for tonight's fine ball game here in Conyers, Georgia. I'm Gary Klumpp, Kevin Holden on East 105 AM Sports. 65 degrees. It was cloudy and a little bit of dampness early this morning as well as throughout the day, but it broke up just in time for baseball here. 7:15 start. We got Coach Marvin Pruitt, head man of the Rockdale Bulldogs. Coach Pruitt, let's go off of that starting lineup here as far as the batting order for the Rockdale Bulldogs against Shiloh tonight.
Okay, leading off tonight for Rockdale Bulldogs will be Mickey Acox, a senior shortstop for us. And batting second will be Chad Davis, who's playing second base tonight. Our third hitter is Chris Hester, a center fielder. Batting cleanup tonight is Kyle Ormsby, a left fielder. In the number 5 spot, pitcher tonight, Mike Norton, also a senior. Batting behind Norton is Sloan Crumbly at first base. Batting 7th is our catcher, senior Chris Stevens. And number 8 spot is our right fielder, Derek Clark. And batting number 9 is a senior third baseman, Mike Yarberry.
Okay, Coach, just one question, that is, you've got a streak to break. You're determined to break it. These guys, I'm sure, are that much dogged and determined to break it. Have you talked to these guys before the game? They know these last 2 ball games are essential for one reason. That is build for momentum for next year and show these underclassmen some leadership, especially from your graduating seniors. Your comments on that?
Well, that's correct. We have Mike Norton pitching for us tonight. He's our ace since Kevin went down a couple of weeks ago. And Mike's been throwing real well the last few ball games.
All right, Coach, I know you're going to get back down there. We hope to see you at the post-game show and talk about the season, and just give us 10 minutes of your time when the end of the game is over with in the post-game show. And that just about does it right here with the pre-game show. We're going to be right back with the first pitch here with Rockdale County's baseball Bulldogs against the Shiloh Generals. We'll have a word from our sponsors on East 105 AM Radio.
Your grass clippings, now's the time to quit, because right now at Cowan Ace Hardware, Toro recyclable mowers are on sale. Toro recyclable mowers have a patented system that cuts clippings into fine pieces and puts them back into your lawn. In fact, Toro recyclable mowers cut clippings so fine they decompose faster, becoming a natural fertilizer for your lawn, so you get a healthy and beautiful lawn without bagging. Have a big lawn? Cowan Ace Hardware has big savings on Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers too. Every series is available with Toro's exclusive recycler mowing system, and you can buy that Toro with no payments and no interest until October. So hurry down to Cowan Ace Hardware and see the special savings on Toro recycler mowers and Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers. Either way, you'll save while getting a healthy, beautiful lawn without bagging. Now, haven't you done without a Toro long enough? Stop by Cowan Ace Hardware, 1264 Green Street in Conyers.
Glidden Paints has April promotions going on at all locations. Back here at Bulldog Field here, Rockdale County, Conyers, Georgia. We got a smattering of applause coming out there from the pregame crowd. We got about 150, 200 people here watching the Bulldogs' second to last game of the season here. And we're going to have the singing of our national anthem in just minutes from Marcy Norton, a Rockdale County resident, as the Bulldogs finish their pregame warm-ups here. And now let's pause for our national anthem from Marcy Norton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled
Thank you very much, Marcy Norton. And the national anthem, Kevin Holden. Here Here's a team right now, Shiloh Generals, as we look at our first batter leading off with Robert Upchurch here, the second baseman, getting in the swing of things here. Behind the plate will be Johnny Stewart, and Tom Wilson will be out there calling the bases for the Atlanta Baseball Umpires Association. Kevin, we're looking at a beautiful field tonight, and unlike last Friday when we last looked at this field, there was bunches of grass and just looked like a plodding cow patch out there, but they've done a heck of a job with the coaches and the players, and it was pretty much just all Rockdale High School baseball and coaches that took care of this field, which of course will be dedicated sometime next week. Coach Marvin Pruitt and the booster clubs will agree on that as far as naming the new stadium, and a beautiful complex it is now with lights that were put up just before the start of the season, a beautiful press box here, concession stand, all done by the baseball boosters here of Rockdale County High School in their efforts, and along with the Board of Education. Kevin, of course, we saw some news last Saturday in the 5-1 victory of Heritage, knocking off Rockdale in the rubber match here of the 3-game set last Saturday. And of course, we saw something very emotional here at Heritage High School, which is also in Conyers for you out-of-town listeners. And Danny Blue Field is the new name for the Heritage High School baseball diamond. Talk about that.
Well, Danny Blue is Coach Blue's son, and he was tragically killed in an auto accident last September 20th. And it appears that the booster club, as well as the players, got together and decided to name the field Danny Blue Field. And, of course, Coach Blue was touched by this. He had Miss Blue out there on the field with all the players and everything. And I think it may actually be an emotional advantage, believe it or not, coming into the region playoffs.
Well, we certainly, I know that a lot of these Rockdale County fans hope so. These teams are dogged, determined crosstown rivals on the field, but once they're beyond the baseline stripes, these guys play together all through their Youth Baseball Association years, and many of them play together in the post-77 Legion baseball team, which will be starting their season in about 2-3 weeks, just before Memorial Day weekend, late part of May. All right, leading off will be Robert Upchurch for the Shiloh Generals, and we're looking at Mike Norton. Norton, a hard-throwing right-hander, the senior, played football. He's played baseball the last 3 years. He's a varsity letterman for 3 years here on the Rockdale Bulldog baseball team. Catching is Chris Stevens. Out of third base, we've got Mike Yarbury. Shortstop is Mickey Acox. Second base, Chad Davis, who also pitched yesterday in an Admiral. Rockdale lost against South Gwinnett 8-2, but many of those runs were unearned. Chad Davis, who has come in here to be a stopgap pitcher since Kevin Miller, the hard-throwing left-hander, went down with a serious injury about 2-3 weeks ago. So Rockdale's had to play patch-up baseball. We'll get comments from Coach Pruitt about the languished season, especially the 14-game skid, which they hope to break tonight. And now Stevens and Norton get their signal straight. We've got stats on the gentleman, Mr. Mike Norton. And Kevin, what you got on him as far as a record right now and his ERA after his last start against Heritage?
All right, Norton's ERA on the year, 4.50, 41 hits and 40.1 innings pitched, 20 walks as opposed to 32 strikeouts. That's something that Coach Marvin Pruitt must really like.
Okay, these teams have nothing to lose. Let's just sit back and have some fun and bang a gong here. 8 quad A sub-south action. First pitch of the ball game. Norton throws it hard. Inside fastball, tails in. 1 ball, no strikes on Upchurch. Upchurch, closed batting stance, hugs the plate. Outfield straight away. Norton kicks and delivers. Inside again, 2-0. Stevens setting up inside, 2 balls, no strikes. The outfield for the Rockdale Bulldogs, we got Chris Hester in center field, Kyle Ormsby in left field, and Derek Clark playing right field, all straight away. Beautiful night for baseball. Sit back and enjoy. Strike right down the middle. Norton, 2 balls, 1 strike here. If you're not in your car listening to East 105 AM Sports here, Rockdale against Shiloh, come on by and stop with a transistor right by your doorstep. Kick back and watch some fine high school action here as 2 sub-south teams battle it out the remainder of the season. Count is now 3 balls and 1 strike.
3-1 here on the first hitter, and it's an important batter for Norton because getting the first batter out is certainly important, especially at the high school level.
Strike call right down the middle. Kevin, he hasn't gone to 1 off-speed pitch yet, just right down the gut with nothing but pile-driving hard stuff.
It seems to me that he's trying to get himself established here with the fastball and may go to the curveball or a slider in later innings.
The payoff pitch from Norton. Ground ball. Second base. Davis ranging to his right. Comes up with it. Throws in plenty of time. 1 up and 1 away. And a 3-2 pitch from Norton.
Now batting for hitter number 10, Oaks.
Good play by Davis. Davis has played third base. He's pitched. Like I said, he pitched yesterday in last night's loss against South Gwinnett. Both teams coming off losing games. Shiloh got beat by Norcross 8-2 yesterday. They were playing a non-region game. That was a non-sub-region game, Norcross and Sub-Region North. They're 3-7 in Sub-North out of the playoff picture. Everything is all set for postseason play. as Norton faces Scott Oakes, the center fielder for Shiloh. Line shot down the line left field. That's going to be a base hit. Could be extra bases as Ormsby bobbles the ball on the left field line, picks it up, and he'll be in with a double. Scott Oakes. We'll see what the official scores mark it, but I believe he would have taken second base anyways, as Ormsby did his best to get down there and cut that ball off from extra bases down the line.
I'm not quite sure there, Gary. It looked like he may have been able to hold him off second base. He bobbled the ball around a little bit, actually went into foul territory there in bobbling the ball, and Oakes ended up on second base either way. Now, Coach George at Shiloh has David Baranowski up, the third baseman, with a chance to drive the run home.
And you're right, the scorekeepers, the official scorekeepers are going to mark that an error for Ormsby. Mark it a single and an extra base on an error. Ball. Curveball low. Stevens makes a great play, getting down on his haunches and blocking the pitch. Stevens, they like this guy. Marvin Pruitt likes him. He's not a big kid. He's got small dimensions, small frame for a catcher, but he's got room to grow, and he's quick. He's got agility. He's going to have to work in the off-season as far as strengthening that arm and quickness down to second base, but he's a heady kind of a catcher and really targets his pitchers well, and he's a good communicator out there in the infield. Here's a pitch from Norton as he sets man at second base. That's Oakes. Pitch down low. The count is now 2 balls and no strikes here. Early on, if you're just joining us, we're just getting underway here. Prime time sports exclusive here in East 105 AM. We want to thank you for joining us. Runner at second base, that's Davis shading. Oakes at second for Shiloh, and there's a foul tip as Baranowski out ahead of that pitch. Dangerous pitch there for our man Norton. He looked like he kind of waved that curveball a little bit high. He's going to snap it off, get it downstairs.
He doesn't want to seem to be throwing too many fastballs in the early innings, even though he wants to get himself established. He still wants to throw a few curveballs, and if it doesn't work for him tonight, it may not be well, because you really can't get by with just one good pitch.
2 balls, 1 strike now. Norton kicks, delivers from the stretch. Just misses outside with a slider. Ball broke well as Stevens sets up outside. The count is now 3-1. We've got 1 down. Oakes at second base on a base hit and an error. As Baranowski sits back, waits. Foul tip. Good pitch from Norton. Low fastball. Full count. 3-2.
Norton looked a lot better with that pitch. He seems to be establishing himself with that fastball. And if he can get the curveball starting to come over the plate, he's bounced a few so far. Looks like he might be letting go of it a little bit too late.
Don't forget he's pitching on only 2 days rest, 3 days rest after he won a full game against the Heritage Patriots last Saturday. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, deep left field. If it stays fair, it's out of here. The ball is... It's a foul ball. We're looking, it's a home run. I believe they're going to call it a home run. We're waiting for the umpire signal. Yes, it is. A round tripper. Wait a minute. Foul ball. We can't tell. The umpires are waving, and from our vantage point up here, the foul pole is kind of partially hidden by the backstop. It is a foul ball as Baranowski now just paces around third base. I'm sorry, Kevin. And Coach Glenn George is arguing the call there. He wonders just exactly how foul was that pitch, but plate umpire Johnny Stewart waves it foul.
Yeah, Coach George couldn't believe that. He was grabbing a handful of grass there, but there really wasn't much grass there to grab.
He should have been here last Friday. Had a full bell to throw at him. Okay. All it is a long foul ball that just went about 345 feet past the track bunker there. As many of the Shiloh fans elated at the long blast, but to no avail. Norton dodges a bullet and does the Dogs' defense here now. Payoff pitch. Man at second base is Oakes. Outside and away. He lost him on a 3-2 pitch. We've got runners at first and second.
3-2 count there, full count on the hitter. Norton trying to go with the curveball to get him to swing at it, but it tailed a little bit too far outside. If Norton were to throw a fastball in that situation, he might see another swing. He might have been a little bit intimidated by that last swing. You definitely 340 feet. What an amazing hit, but it was foul.
All right, that brings up Pat Scarup, S-K-A-R-U-P, if you're keeping score at home. Pat Scarup, left-handed hitting. First baseman, he's a senior, big strapping young kid. Here's Norton taking a look. Aycock's right behind Oakes at second base. As the infield is back on double play depth, looking at third base. That's Yarberry inching in a little bit towards the fringe. He's guarding the line somewhat. Scarup, a deft bunter from what I understand. He's got power, but he's got good bat control. He hits well behind the runners. Good hit and run man. Pitch from Norton. Inside low. The count is now 2-0. trouble here. Norton's got to be able to come in with a strike as Stevens calls a timeout and goes out to talk with Norton. Got to be able to make these guys be able to play behind you, put the ball in play, throw the strike, let the defense get back on his toes.
Absolutely. Need to work quickly and throw strikes. You're pitching to the cleanup hitter in this situation, and after watching the third hitter hit that last shot, the catcher's probably going out and saying to him right now, just calm down and be able to get these next couple of hitters out. You do have one out, and you should be able to get a double play, get a ground ball out to second base.
You know, sometimes I look at Mike Norton. He's a fiery competitor, takes a lot of responsibility on himself, a leadership-type player, and sometimes that works, but in situations like this, you just got to just shake off that last hitter and look at this next batter as a new man. The next pitch is all that counts. The pitch is a fly ball, right field, right center field. It could be trouble. That ball is off the fence. Off the fence as Scarab heads for second base. Here comes Oaks rounding. We've already got one run in. And coming in and a head first slide. That's Oaks coming in. That's the first run as we got some befuddled base running out there for Shiloh. All right, Scarab with a stand-up double. Oaks wanted to make sure the ball was not caught, and some miscommunication there in the bases. Only one run scores on that one, but a double from Scarab, and that'll put Baranowski at third base. Scarab is second, and Oaks is in with the first run. Shiloh 1-0 here in the top of the first inning.
Credit a little bit of indecision there on that play. Center fielder and right fielder converging on the ball. There wouldn't have been much of a chance because it bounced off the wall, but the shallow runners had to stay close in case of a catch, and therefore all three of them were close to each other, and therefore only one run scored.
Right in between right field and center field, right up the alley. 340-foot shot right off the fence. Newly constructed 10 feet high fences here at Rockdale. Right down the cock, strike one, and this is to the designated hitter, Trace Neighbors, batting for the shortstop, Donnie Miller. Trace Neighbors, another left-handed hitter. Back-to-back left-handed hitters. All right, looking for the signal. Looking down to Glenn George, the head coach. Runners at second and third. There's one down here. Infield back for Rockdale. Outfield straight away. We've got virtually nothing happening as far as any kind of wind. Shot. First base. Good play. Good play made there by our first baseman. And then, of course, is
Sloan Crumley.
Sloan Crumley playing first base. Sloan Crumley with a good play. Shot right at him. So mark down Neighbors with a line out to first base. Runners hold at second and third, and there's two outs.
Crumley with a great catch there. If he'd have been just a little bit more alert, he might have had a shot to runner at second. He was about to throw the ball around the infield. Saw the runner going back to second, made a throw over there, but he didn't quite make it.
Crumley with a 6'3" frame. That helped out, no question about that. Shot right to him. Strike right down the cock as Norton looks at Boyd Green. Green playing right field. He's an outfielder, senior. Several players coming back for Shiloh, next year's squad. They got some young, talented players. Norton kicks, delivers, up the box, slapped up the middle. That'll score two. In to score is Upchurch, and here comes Scarab. In to score was Baranowski, and now Scarab comes in as a 2 RBI single laced up the middle by Boyd Green. Bangs it up the box, and Norton couldn't make the play. Just squirts through the infield on Davis and Acox.
Now's the testing time for Norton. 3 runs scored off him here in the first inning. He's got to settle down, be able to get these next 2 hitters out, and hope that the Rockdale offense will get him some support here over the next couple innings.
Jason Key's pitching today. Jason Key's a senior. Right-handed thrower. He's batting right-handed. As Boyd Green knocks in Scarab and Baranowski with runs 2 and 3 as Shiloh has an early 3-0 lead with 2 outs. Norton sets, delivers. Inside fastball, 1-0. Kevin, on a night like this, it's just going to keep on getting cooler. There's no question about it. Norton has shown he's got plenty of stamina and starch, but he's thrown a lot of pitches here in this first inning.
Not only has he thrown a lot of pitches in this first inning, as you mentioned, he pitched 6 innings there against Heritage in the last game, and Coach Prue's got to watch testing his arm here.
Fly ball, straightaway center field, actually fading to the right now, as making the catch on a fine running catch is Chris Hester, the center fielder. That ball just kept on tailing to the right. Started out heading right straight away to center field, but it just kept on tailing. So, Shiloh Generals pick up 3 quick runs on 3 hits. There was 1 Rockdale error, 1 man left on base. The score, the top half of the first inning. Shiloh 3, Rockdale coming to bat on a sports exclusive. We'll be right back Word from our sponsors on East 105 AM Radio. Classic Billiards has 5,000 square feet to fill. Keith, hard-throwing right-hander. We haven't got any vital stats on him on the season, but he is no question about it, the ace of the staff here of a young and inexperienced mound core, depleted bullpen, just like Rockdale. They've had to rely on a lot of starting pitching and guys to go the full distance, with some of the inexperience showing early on and in the middle part of the season here in sub-region play for the Shiloh Generals. Jason Keith pitching. We'll go over the defensive lineup there for the Shiloh Generals. And playing at first base, of course, is Scarab. Scarab with an RBI double. Upchurch playing second base. Donnie Miller, shortstop. Baranowski with a 2 RBI single. He's playing at third base. We got Scott Marty out of left field. Scott Oakes out in center field. And in right field, we're looking for a right fielder there, and that is Boyd Green playing right field for the Shiloh Generals. Well, Kevin, here we go now. Rockdale coming to the bat, and they have that average that's just a little bit over 200, 205 to be exact. They have having a problem here with 14 straight losses. I guess when you're just not hitting the ball, it doesn't matter how good your defense is or pitching is, you're not going to score the runs to win.
Absolutely, Gary, and the Rockdale offense here over the next couple innings is one of its big tests. It's something that it's had problems doing, and of course it's lost a lot of one-run ball games, but then again it's been shut out several times too, so it remains to be seen here over the next couple innings whether Rockdale can score.
Well, this is a good game to get the attitude straightened out with 1 game left on the season. This is not a run-for-the-bus team, and never has a Coach Pruitt team ever run for the bus. They always play the last out and finish out the season as best as possible. Mickey Acox, left-handed hitter, leading off. Acox, the shortstop. Ball is outside. Acox on the season, one of the better hitters this year for the Bulldogs. And we're going to get a stat on him in just a minute as we look for the 1-0 pitch from Jason Keith. Acox batting .267. Good bat control, excellent bunter, deceptive speed. He had a serious knee injury during the football season. He is very, very quick. He slowed somewhat from the knee injury, but you get him on base, there's no question about it. He is a potent threat offensively. Acox, close stance, weight back, pitch from Keith, outside corner, and we got a 2-1 count now. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Here on that 1-0 pitch, something I saw from Jason Keith that might be impressive as the game goes along seemed to be a screwball that tailed away from the left-handed hitting Acox, will tail into the right-handed batters.
Acox fouls it off, right back at us here. 2-2 pitch now. Jason Keith coming right at him with the gas, heating up with a fastball. Big legs out there. He's got that drop and drive pitching mechanic. That is essential for anybody there that's going to have to rely on the hard stuff and go to the occasional slider and curve. Keith comes inside with a corner. Hard fastball as Acox doesn't like it. He asked Stewart where that was, and Stewart tells him inside corner. Checks him out right there. 1 up and 1 away.
That's a great way to establish yourself to a first hitter, an inside fastball. That'll keep the hitters off balance. Coach Marvin Pruitt really wants to win this game. He's already got Jason Kirkus in the bullpen warming up here after only 1 inning.
All right, we saw him a little more than a month and a half ago against Heritage here at Rockdale. Here's a bounding ball right back to Keith as Davis dribbles out. Pitcher to first base, 2 up and 2 away now for the Bulldogs as Chris Hester now, the center fielder who made a great play out there for the 3rd out for Shiloh. Chris Hester coming up now, and Hester, the vitals on him. What do you got there, Kevin?
Chris Hester, 207 on the year, 12 hits and 58 at-bats, has a home run and 13 RBIs.
Well said. Okay, Chris Hester now digging up here a little bit of home play area. The batter's box is now completely wiped out. A beautiful field here. This is the finest we've seen the Rockdale County High School baseball diamond look in a long time. Fine complex for years to come. It wouldn't surprise me if one of these 2 schools has a region playoff hosted right here in Conyers, Georgia. A thriving community of 55,000 strong. Here's Keith. Off-speed pitch, second base. Shouldn't be any kind of a problem for Shiloh as Hester grounds out 4-3. The second baseman Upchurch makes the play. 3 up and 3 away. So, after 1 inning of play here at Rockdale County, Rockdale Bulldogs trail Shiloh Generals 3-0 in some sub-region South action. We'll be back from East 105 AM Sports Exclusive. A word from our sponsors here on East 105 AM Radio.
of high tire prices, JR's Auto and Tire guarantees the lowest price of any tire on the market. From computer alignments to selecting rugged Dayton steel-belted radials, JR's Auto and Tire backs customer satisfaction with the best service in Georgia. JR's Auto and Tire has alignment specials. Only $29.95 for two-wheel and just $49.95 for four-wheel drive alignments. Ask for Rick Sharpton and get 5% off already rock-bottom tire prices. JR's Auto and Tire open Monday through Saturday at 2125 Siegmund Road, Conyers.
Whether it's a glorious family Sunday brunch after... Back here live. Man at first base, that's Heron, and that's the fourth hit for the Shiloh Generals.
Little statistic we just found out here on Mickey Aycox. He's had 8 strikeouts in the year 3 in his last 3 at-bats, so he's in a bit of a mini slump here.
Okay, he'll be rectifying that next time at bat, I'm sure of that. Right now he's on defense. Scott Marty, left fielder now. Here comes Marty. So essential.
That's why you've got to teach every one of your hitters about bunting and sacrificing. And a lot of the coaches in this region do it very well, and it's a really competitive region in that when there's a runner on base with nobody out, somebody gets to first base. It's that ABC ball. Get him on, advance him, and score him.
And Norton, with a good move to first base there, as Barron showing some adventure, some attitudes as he's getting a bit cavalier at first base there. He almost got picked by Aycox in the base hit, and now he almost gets picked by Norton there as Crumbly slaps on the tag. And now Scott Marty back in again with a 1-strike pitch after the whiffed bunt attempt. Infield back in double play depth. Aycox straight back at short, and Norton checks again at first base. Chad Davis at second base, shading a bit to his right. Outfield is straight away. There is no wind whatsoever, no factor whatsoever from the weather elements. Beautiful night for baseball. Glad you're listening here in East 105 AM as Norton sets and delivers. Runner goes. There's a bunt down third base. Beautiful bunt. Thrown from Yarberry. That's going to be wide of the bag. That might get a runner to third base. Yes, it will. Heron rounding third. He'll give it a try at home. And coming around, a wild throw to home as Stevens from Hester, or first baseman Sloan Crumbly, throws the ball wild at home plate. And advancing over to third now is Scott Marty on a 2-base error and a bunt.
Beautifully laid sacrifice bunt, and the third baseman there, Yarberry, looking to make a good play. Unfortunately, threw the ball up the line, and then when the right fielder came in, right fielder Derek Clark came in to the first baseman Sloan Crumbly. Then Crumbly threw one over the catcher's head, so 2 errors on the play.
2 errors, that makes it 3 for the game for the Bulldogs here. As defensive lapses have mired this team somewhat late. They weren't like this at the beginning of the season, or middle part of the season. They were playing some solid defense, only averaging 2 errors a game. That's not bad for high school. As now we go to the top of the order. Robert Upchurch now. Upchurch 0 for 1. He grounded out the second. First time up. Infield in now, as there is nobody out. Norton trying to keep his mental approach focused on this batter. You got to just discard those defensive lapses. You just got to pitch your game and forget about it. Your job is to throw the ball, and Norton kicks, delivers. Ground ball right back at him. Glances off his glove as Aycox tries to come up with it, and we're going to give that a base hit. That banged off Norton's glove, then it came off Aycox's glove, and Upchurch is going to be on base with an infield single, and scoring will be Scott Marty for the Shiloh Generals. Run number 5 for the Generals here.
Coach Marvin Pruitt coming out to have a talk here with Mike Norton. Might be telling him having a little bit of problems early. Now he's motioning to the umpire.
I think it's going to be hook time. Yes, it is. Looks like Norton, there's no question about it. This gentleman is hard and as bulldogish as he is as far as a determined senior. Mark Norton is walking off the mound now. And Jason Kirkus will come out to pitch. Mike Norton, that'll be it for Mike. He's got to be tired. He pitched 6 innings on Saturday, coming back with only a couple days rest, and his arm just didn't quite have it. And Mike gets a little smattering of applause from the fans. And Jason Kirkus now will take over from here. Kirkus, the right-hander, takes his warm-up tosses as the Shiloh Generals now have a 5-0 lead. Kevin, we've got a few sponsors we have some time now to identify here while we have a little break in the action.
Yeah, while Kirkus is taking his warm-up pitches, let's talk about JR's Auto and Tire. Tired of high tire prices? JR's Auto and Tire guarantees the lowest price of any tire on the market. From computer alignments to selecting rugged Dayton steel-belted radials, JR's Auto and Tire backs customer satisfaction with the best service in Georgia. JR's Auto and Tire has alignment specials. Only $29.95 for two-wheel and just $49.95 for four-wheel drive alignments. Ask for Rick Sharpton and get 5% off already rock-bottom tire prices. JR's Auto and Tire open daily and Saturday at 2125 Siegmund Road, Conyers. For an appointment, that's JR's Auto and Tire, 922-0667.
And Kevin, of course, you look at some fine young ladies there at Heritage High School, and with spring fashions in full swing and the girls strutting their wares before the graduations and prom nights. Of course, at Plaza Cleaners, all of your dresses and suits are ready for those family gatherings and prom night. Well, if not, see Dan Doyle and Suzanne Dickerson, who are waiting for you to dry clean or alter any kind of shoe repairs done for your wardrobe before that special prom night. Their store hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on Saturdays from 8 to 6 p.m. That's Plaza Cleaners in the Crossroads Shopping Center, 875 Flat Shoals Road, Conyers. Girls, guys, get out there and let's get decked out. All right. Beautiful night here as the clouds are parting. It's a blue sky. As Kirkus has finished his warm-up tosses, he's talked to Stevens. They got their signal straight. Mike Norton leaves the game after one inning pitched and gives up 5 runs. I believe 2 of those will be charged unearned. We'll check with the official score as Norton finishes his, could be his last start of the season. A hard-throwing right-hander. Disappointing. But nevertheless, a very determined young man as he showed some guts out there with just a couple days rest. Here's the pitch. Runner going. Stevens throws wide of the bag, and no problem will be there with Upchurch. Has a stolen base. First one of the night as Stevens comes up quick, shows some quick release. And here again we talk about that arm strength. And this is going to have to be essential for Coach Pruitt and the entire staff to get these baseball players, especially the young returning letterman next year, to really strengthen and get some conditioning going.
Chris Stevens, the catcher, is a senior, so he won't be back next year. And also Kyle Ormsby, who caught quite a bit of the time, won't be back. He's a senior as well, so they'll be grooming some new catchers.
Good point. Thank you very much for picking that out for me. I thought that he was a junior. I have him down as a junior in my registration here, but anyway, we stand corrected. Both catchers, both backstops are gone. Scott Oakes now looking as he had a base hit his first time up. Runner at second base. That's Upchurch. Shiloh ahead 5-0. We're in the top of the second inning. Pitch from Kirkus. Down low curve. What do you got the vital signs there on Kirkus as far as his line record so far this season, Kevin?
Jason Kirkus is a pitcher of 4.84 ERA so far, 17 hits and 21.2 innings pitched. Also 15 earned runs, 16 walks as opposed to 13 strikeouts.
All right. The count is now 2 balls, I believe, and 1 strike. We have a count out there 2-1. As Scott Oakes, as Chad Davis keeps a shot down the left field line. That's a foul ball, just barely foul. Breaking on the pitch was Upchurch. Chad Davis, he might be talking to Kirkus to make sure that they got something straight as far as the pickoff move to second base, because I'll tell you, Upchurch had about a 12 to 15-foot lead.
That's something that's really important, especially at this stage of the game, and Davis and Kirkus have to get together with the switch of pitchers. Sometimes that can be a problem.
Both these teams are just going to pin their ears back and play basic bang-a-gong baseballs. There's nothing to lose here. The postseason matchups have already been set for both Sub-Region North and South A-Quad A action. Kirkus kicks, delivers. Fastball in the dirt, gets Stevens, makes a good stop. And it's ball 4 as Oakes trots down to first base. Runners at first and second now. Dave Baranowski now, third baseman up. He walked his first time and scored a run. As Rockdale again is back on double play depth. They're trying to get themselves out of this mired second inning here. Nobody out, in case you just joined us. It's 5-0. A couple of defensive lapses, scored a couple of runs off starter. There's a throw to second base as Davis again shines over for Kirkus. Mike Norton left with the runners on first and second base. Actually, first base, excuse me. Jason Kirkus trying to work out of the jam here. Kirkus in relief. Davis shading, trying to keep him close. Ball low inside. Inside and low, we got 1-0. Baranowski playing third. He scored a run. Coming in on Scarab's double. Pat Scarab is on deck. The cleanup hitter. Shiloh with 2 wins and 6 losses in the sub-region. Swing and a miss. Jason Kirkus right down the middle with a fastball. Might have May have took something off that a little bit as far as an off-speed, maybe a change-up, but he came right over the top. Nevertheless, Baranowski looks at it, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Davis trying to keep him close. Fly ball, straightaway left field. This is deep, deep. Back there is Ormsby at the warning track, and he makes the catch. Runners hold as they trot back to second and first. Fly ball. It's only 305 down the line here, but with that 10-foot fence, it makes it a bit more of a degree of difficulty. Not the chip shots that they were last year when they were just screaming out here left and right, especially with the graduate Al Sadler knocking out a dozen home runs last season.
And that 305 line, the Shiloh right-handed batters have been wearing it out so far against fairly ineffective Norton and also Jason Kirkus.
All right, Kirkus trying to get himself together here, and he's got 1 down now as Baranowski pops out. Actually flies out deep to left, but as I say in the dugout, you got him popping up there, Jason. Keep it up. Now Scarab. Ball high, off-speed pitch, just misses outside. Pat Scarab, the senior. Shiloh stands to lose, let me see here now. They stand to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. 7 seniors graduating, so that's there's about 10, 11 players coming back next year, all juniors this year. Runners going on the hit and run. And foul back is Scarab. The count is now at 1-1. Hit and run was on.
That's interesting. A double hit and run. Runners at first and second, both going on the pitch. That's risky.
Well, Glenn George is just going to say, hey, guys, let's just pull out the whole starch, throw the playbook out, and let's just play the aggressive baseball.
With a 5-0 lead, I guess you can do things like that.
You can experiment and get a little more bold, a little more aggressive, take a few more chances, especially early on in the game. Let you get a chance to work some of the aspects of the baseball execution that you maybe couldn't have early on with scores so close and then behind by a couple runs. There's a fly ball deep to right field. If it stays fair, it's history. That ball is foul.
It bounced just off the top of the wall in foul territory.
Scarab showing some severe power there. Opened his gate and just let it rip. Rolled his wrists over, and that ball was a shot. Kirkus, he's dangling with danger with that fastball upstairs like that. Not overpowering. He's going to have to get a little lower there and drop and drive and push off in the corners and just see if he can fish around in the black, because right now he's in Meatball City, as a power alley of Scarab showed on that pitch.
Gary, what do you think of this interesting 4-5 combination here for Shiloh? 2 left-handed hitters.
I like it. It's kind of strange that usually you see as the ball is now 3-1, or actually it's 2-2, I'm sorry. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Scarab. There's 2 ways to look at that. You know, sometimes a lot of managers like to break it up, especially having your a left-hander in the top half of the lineup and a left-handed hitter in the bottom half. But back-to-back like that is kind of unusual. But so far in today's game, it surely hasn't proven wrong. Here's a pickoff attempt. Kirkus throws, and a nice scoop up there by Mickey Acox. Acox shading over from the shortstop. Pickoff was on. As they continue to put pressure on the Bulldog defense at second base there. Getting the lead out there is Robert Upchurch. Upchurch going. Hit and run on. Again. Both runners going. As Scarab again fouls it off.
That ball looked like that came back and hit Scarab and then bounded into foul territory. One comment about Robert Upchurch. He's only a sophomore and a starting second baseman. Of course, he had the stolen base earlier and tempting the Rockdale defense out there, reminiscent of the leadoff hitter for Heritage, a sophomore Chris Honeycutt.
Honeycutt, of course, of the crosstown rival Heritage team. Pitch outside, just throws his bat at it, as again the hit and run was on, and it's going to drop foul.
That's an execution of fundamentals right there. That could have cost Shiloh an out or maybe even more. Just at the hit and run, you've got to hit the pitch no matter where it is, and he just threw his bat out.
Well, there's a man that's been, he's obviously, when you talk about an upperclassman, a guy that's played in the Glenn George system for a while. That's just one of those pattern plays that it's ingrained in your head. You know that any 2-2 pitch, hit and run is on, no matter where it is, throw your bat at it, protect your runners. And that's exactly what Scarab did so well. Sidearm curve as Kirkus breaks down and throws from the side. Misses outside. We got a payoff pitch now. Rockdale looking for a little bit of reprieve here defensively. They're in double play depth now as Upchurch wanders off about 12 feet from second base, excuse me. Pickoff move is on again. This time thrown high by Kirkus, and again in a good play by Acox, shading over from the shortstop side as Upchurch continues to play havoc there at second base, putting pressure on the middle of the Rockdale defense.
That was a smart throw there back to second base. They had daylight for a little while in the play. Acox actually standing behind the runner.
Kicks, delivers. Shot, base hit. This is score 1, maybe 2. Coming in is right fielder making the play for Rockdale. Cutting off is Chad Davis, and run will score. That is Upchurch coming in. As coming up with a play out there is Derek Clark, the right fielder. The ball kind of died out there as going out to get it in the cutoff was Chad Davis. Runners now at the corners, first and third. That brings in Upchurch now with the 6th Shiloh run. And that brings up Trace Neighbors, DHing for Don Miller at shortstop. So Upchurch is in. Moving over to third base is Scotty Oakes. And at first base with an RBI single. And that's his second RBI now for the night is Pat Scarab, excuse me. Continue to having a hot night for the Shiloh Generals. And a 6-0 Shiloh lead. Foul back at the screen was Trace Neighbors, 0-1.
That would close the book there on Norton for the game. 1 inning pitch, 10 batters faced, gave up 6 runs, 3 of them earned, 5 hits, and 1 walk. No strikeouts.
Neighbors on the year. We haven't got a batting average, but I hear that they've got 3 or 4 hitters over 300. They're very high on Neighbors. He's had a good season so far, DHing. Not strong defensively, but a good bat. Left-handed swinger. Swing and a miss on a hit and run, and easily will be a stolen base for Pat Scarab as he was going on the pitch. It becomes one of those situations with a young pitcher like this, like Kirkus, who's got a good, quick delivery from the windup. He's going to have to learn how to get it a little more quicker from the stretch. Pop off that mound, not have such a high leg kick because he's just easy. He's just too predictable right now. There's a slash, right field. This will score Scarab. Rounding first is Neighbors. Coming in to score will be Scarab. And that's the 7th run for the Shiloh Generals as they've got a commanding, excuse me, is that 8-0 now? That is 8-0, I'm sorry. That's 8-0 now for the Shiloh Generals here in the 2nd inning as the Bulldogs have their problems now on the hill.
That's where that steal of second base really paid off because I don't think he would have been able to score from first on that single. Matter of fact, I'm sure he wouldn't have been able to score from first, but that steal of second allows them to take 2 runs home, now 8-0.
Neighbors with an RBI. And now the pitch to Boyd Green. Green got a base hit his first time up. Boyd Green, the right fielder. Just to clear up the score sheet, was that 2 RBIs for Neighbors or just a 1? He just knocked in Scarab, is that correct?
That was 2 RBIs, Oakes and Scarab.
Oakes and Scarab came in case you're scoring at home. Oakes, Scarab score on the 2 RBI single by Neighbors. Foul pop here, Stevens giving chase right by the Bulldog dugout, and it's just out of play, just over the screen. Stevens giving chase, and it just gets out.
Even though that ball was out of play, we saw an impressive sign there from Kirkus, a curveball that started in toward the hitter and started to break out over the plate.
It's the kind of game, and it's the time of season for Rockdale when you just more or less go with the guys that are going to bring you back next year and let them get that game experience under the gun. Forget about the score. Just think about that development, bringing up the prospects. Kirkus kicks, delivers. Down low, and the count is now 2 balls, 1 strike. Or I'm sorry, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2. 1-2 as Boyd Green now looks down and checks Georgia signals. Runner at first base. That's Trace Neighbors. High and inside as Kirkus comes in.
Kirkus trying to come over the top there with the curveball, didn't quite make it down far enough to be called a strike.
Count is now 2-2. The Bulldogs trying to break a 14-game winless streak. The last time they won was a little more than a month ago against a team called Lakeside from the DeKalb County area. And now we got a payoff pitch as Kirkus misses again with a fastball. 3-2 the pitch. You look at the scores, it's just amazing how many 1-run ball games they lost early on, heartbreakers. The last victory was a 9-2 whitewash against Lakeside. And, of course, we saw the first game that kind of broke the dike here for the Bulldogs. Foul back of the screen is hanging tough. Boyd Green. And they lost 7-0 here. That our first broadcast of the season, we kind of saw things unravel from there. Then they went on to lose a 1-run game against Newton County, losing to Shiloh here, this team, at Shiloh, 8-7. And then proceeding to lose their next 10 games, including last night's loss, 8-2 against South Gwinnett. Very tough sub-region. In defense of Rockdale, a very tough and seasoned Sub-Region South program this year with several teams in the hunt. And ball 4 now. As you're going to see Boyd Green drive down to first base, first and second. From our broadcast area, we can't see the bullpen of the Rockdale Bulldogs, but there might be some action going on. Then again, they're so depleted. They've had so many injuries. Boyd Green walks. Runners at first and second.
Got Jonathan Barbary warming up down there in the Rockdale bullpen.
As Coach Ron Chavin and Marvin Pruitt work out the pitching staff, I'm sure we'll see a lot more action tonight from several players, several pitchers. Kirkus kicks, delivers. Curveball gets away from Stevens. This is going to advance both of them. No questions asked. As a curveball, we're going to charge that a pass ball against Chris Stevens as a curveball gets away from him. Neighbors goes to third. Green at second base. And we still only have one out. Stay with us, folks. Trust me, the second inning is going to come and go soon. Green. And ball inside. Count is 2-0.
This batter, Jason Keith, the pitcher, flied out to center field in his first at bat.
That's right. All right. Second and third. Jason Keith taking a look. The pitcher on the mound. Keith flied out to center, as Kevin said. The score is 8-0 Shiloh. 3 runs in the first, 5 now in the second. As that train keeps a rolling here in Conyers, Georgia, in the background, Kirkus winds up, kicks, delivers, strike call on the corner. Good pitch.
That's what Kirkus has got to do now over the next couple innings, is just work quickly and throw strikes.
2-1. Infield in tight. Acox and Davis along the fringe. Third base Yarberry just a couple steps back. Over the top, and good catch by Stevens. Snow-coned it on a foul tip from Keith. The count is now at 2-2. 2-2, 1 out. Outfield straight away. Again, there's no wind whatsoever. No factor whatsoever as far as any balls into the outfield. Just straight shots in this short bandbox park here at Rockdale County High School. All right. Jason Keith, he played football for the Shiloh Generals. Good football team this past fall. Kirkus kicks, delivers, inside, just misses. And the deck is full. 3 ducks in the pond. And now you're seeing the catcher come up, and he started out the inning with a base hit. Chad Heron.
Heron, the 10th man to bat in the inning, singled and ended up scoring on the error by the third baseman, Yarberry. That's the third base on ball for Jason Kirkus this inning. Ball down low. As as Stevens has trouble finding the handle of it. 1-0. No place to put him now. Just serve it up and let him hit. Let your defense play. Right now is a time when you're this early in the ball game and it seems to be dragging that your defense just kind of gets lulled to sleep. You're going to see guys like maybe Acox and Chad Davis, and some of the infielders like Yarberry start to fall back on their heels, and that's not good for the infield. They got to be poised and ready. That's why strikes are so important to get them out of this inning right now. Here's the pitch. Kirkus. Good pitch right down the cut. Throwing strikes is so vitally important because it helps so many causes. You cut down on your walks and hence cut down on a lot of stolen bases. You keep your defense on your toes because they know you'll be pitching strikes.
1-1, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. As Heron chased an outside fastball. Kirkus showing some bulldog mentality right now as he bulls his neck. With a 1-2 pitch coming up, 1 out. Bases are loaded. Shiloh's ahead. Outfield straight away. The pitch. Slider just misses outside. The count is now 2-2. 2-2. 8-0's your score. The Bulldogs and the Generals finishing out the season in Subregion South 8 Quad A. Fly ball. Straight away center field. Hester coming in hard. Makes the catch. Here's a tag. Here's a throw. Coming in a home plate. Stevens putting a tag, and I believe he got it. He hung onto the ball. A beautiful throw by Chris Hester. A great throw by the center fielder as Stevens puts the tag on the attempted score from Trace Neighbors coming in from third base. As he waited for Glenn George's signal, came home, and Stevens places a tag on a heck of a frozen rope, as they call it. Throwing a frozen rope was the man, Chris Hester. Maybe that'll spark this team here as they come to bat in the bottom of the second inning as Marvin Pruitt huddles up with his team. We're going to be back at the end of 1.5 inning of play. Shiloh 8, Rockdale nothing. A word from our sponsors on East 105 AM radio. If you're
still going through the time and trouble of bagging your grass clippings, now's the time to quit, because right now at Cowan Ace Hardware, Toro recycler mowers are on sale. Toro recycler mowers have a patented system that cuts clippings into fine pieces and puts them back into your lawn. In fact, Toro recycler mowers cut clippings so fine they decompose faster, becoming a natural fertilizer for your lawn, so you get a healthy and beautiful lawn without bagging. Have a big lawn? Cowan Ace Hardware has big savings on Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers, too. Every series is available with Toro's exclusive recycler mowing system, and you can buy that Toro with no payments and no interest until October. So hurry down to Cowan Ace Hardware and see the special savings on Toro recycler mowers and Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers. Either way, you'll save while getting a healthy, beautiful lawn without bagging. Now, haven't you done without a Toro long enough? Stop by Cowan Ace Hardware, 1264 Green Street in Conyers.
Glidden Paints has April promotions going on at our school Conyers. The Bulldogs are trying to get back from a labyrinth of runs scored on them by the Shiloh Generals. 8-0 is the score. The Generals have the lead. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Cowan Ace Hardware, Green Street Restaurant, Glidden Paints, Classic Billiards, JR Tire, Plaza Cleaners, and I want to thank, to my left-hand side, is Kevin Holden, the color commentator, now set for play-by-play. Kevin?
All right, Gary, Ormsby, Norton, and Crumley, the three batters for Rockdale in what seemed like an eternity since the last time Rockdale was up. Shiloh, last inning, 5 runs, only 4 hits. A pair of Rockdale errors led to the majority of those 5 runs. 2 runners were left on base. So far, the Shiloh pitcher, Jason Keith, has retired 3 straight hitters as Ormsby steps up. Ormsby playing left field on the game, hitting .220 on the year. 2 home runs. Fastball, down and inside. That's strike 1, 0-1 to Ormsby. Ormsby has scored 9 runs, leads the Rockdale team in runs scored, 11 hits and 50 at-bats, hence the .220 batting average. He's been hit by a pitch 1 time. Keith delivers. Fastball outside. Strike 2, 1-2. He's varying his location with these pitches. So far, an inside and outside pitch, 0-2 to Ormsby. Beautiful night for baseball here, even though it's been dragging on for quite a while after the top of the second inning, that 5-run Shiloh second inning. Keith kicks, delivers. Swinging a foul tip, that's a strikeout. Number 2 for Jason Keith, and Ormsby out on strikes, and the next hitter, Mike Norton, or rather Jason Kirkus, who will be Norton's replacement. Norton's replacement on the mound, and now batting 5th.
The pitcher, number 11, Jason Kirkus.
Kirkus on the year as a hitter, batting 163. An impressive statistic, 13 walks as opposed to 14 strikeouts. Ground ball hit foul off to the left, 0-1. Kirkus 9 RBIs on the year, 7 hits in 43 at-bats. Kirkus steps back in, plays around in the batter's box. Keith on the mound, looks in for the sign, shakes one off, he's ready, kicks, delivers, outside. Counts now 1-1 to Jason Kirkus. As we mentioned before, Kirkus, a .484 ERA as a pitcher, a 1-3-1 loss record, but he does have a save on the year. He was the pitcher in the 7-0 game in our first broadcast. The pitch, curveball outside, that's called a strike. That's 1-2 to Kirkus. 1 out, and the Rockdale Bulldogs have to get a little bit of momentum going in this ball game. So far, they haven't had a base runner. They've had 4 straight batters retired. Kirkus hoping to get on base here as the 5th batter. The delivery. Smacked into the left center field corner. That's going to be a base hit, possibly for extra bases. Center fielder for Shiloh, Oaks slides, catches the ball. Kirkus has to hold it first.
First baseman, number 13, Sloan Crumley.
So the Rockdale Bulldogs get their first base runner in Jason Kirkus, and Sloan Crumley, the first baseman, is now the hitter, with a chance to advance it with 1 out. Crumley on the year batting 194. No homers, 3 RBIs. He does have 12 hits in his 62 at-bats on the year, has scored 7 runs also. Crumley, a right-handed batter. Getting set here in his swings. Steps in. Keith now at the stretch. And Kirkus takes his lead off first base. Keith at the stretch, delivers. That's a smack between short and third. That's going to be another base hit. Kirkus holds up at second. Consecutive singles now have Rockdale runners at first and second with only 1 out. And Chris Stevens, the hitter. Chris Stevens, as we mentioned before, the senior catcher, replacing Kyle Ormsby, who moved out to left field, I guess, for the remainder of the season. Stevens hitting .265 on the year. No homers. He also has 3 RBIs, 7 walks as opposed to 14 strikeouts, 9 hits in his 34 at-bats, but he has scored 10 runs, which one would suppose that he's been used as a pinch runner more often than not. Keith at the stretch, delivers. Ball high. Count 1-0. On Chris Stevens, we've got Kirkus on second base, Crumley on first, and 1 out. Shiloh, an 8-0 lead in the bottom of the second. Rockdale trying to get a rally going. Keith kicks, delivers. Fastball right down the pipe, 1-1. Stevens, and Keith wants a new ball. Stevens stepping back in here.
Kevin, just back up from the press box area, the concession stand area. There's still some talk about when this field will be dedicated. And as the ball is taken out, just a strike call on the outside corner. Sorry to interrupt you there, but just Mike Aycox, the Booster Club president, they're going to be deciding that within a day or two to let us know at East 105 AM and the local media as far as when the dedication is going to be of this fine facility. Now in a class by itself, and nothing like keeping up with the Joneses here. The Region 8 Quad A is now 4 cities, 4 teams in 4 different ballparks have lighted facilities here in Region 8 Quad A.
There's a ball high. Count now 2-2 to Stevens, and night baseball is going to become a fixture here at 8 Quad A, just like it did in the majors 40, 50 years ago. We seem to be getting it a little bit late, but we're getting it.
Well, it frees up a lot of reasons, and I'll tell you why in a minute after this pitch from Keith.
Another ball high, that's 3-2.
The reason is I think a lot of the problems, especially in Rockdale County, maybe not so many other counties we broadcast to within the 6-county range, 1.5 million listeners, but
well, Rockdale County, of course, is a great county, and even starting off as a 5- and 6-year-old in baseball, that groomed you through the recreational programs up here, and then on up into high school ball. As Keith kicks, delivers, ball high and outside. But the Rockdale County fields, as you mentioned, when you get that much baseball played on them, you're going to eventually have fields that are worn out, and you've got to have some cooperation from the players, and that's what Coach Daddy Blue at Heritage and Marvin Pruitt here at Rockdale have their players out there working on the field. And it certainly looks better than it did last week.
Late spring, but this is a class by itself now. This is a fine facility as swinging a miss, Derek Clark. 1-2 now the count.
And Derek Clark on the year, hitting 208, but getting back to the Legion field. Yes, it's definitely a fine field. The coach out there, Greg Studdard, has got to be taking a look at a lot of Heritage and Rockdale baseball players in these games. There's another swing and a miss, and that's another strikeout. Struck out the side there, Jason Keith in the second, and the Bulldogs go down the 3rd out. We'll be back here at East 105 AM.
Classic Billiards has 5,000 Rockdale County High School. Don't adjust that transistor. It's 8-0 Shiloh, but don't count these Bulldogs out as they're showing some signs of life with 2 back-to-back base hits smack that last inning. But Jason Keith continues to ride out the storm early on in this ball game as he streaks along with an 8-0 lead. 8-0 Shiloh. Coming up to bat is Scott Marty, the left fielder. And back with the play-by-play here is Kevin Holden.
All right, thanks, Gary. As you mentioned, Shiloh with the 8-0 lead. Rockdale in the last inning strung together a pair of base hits. No runs on 2 hits in the inning. No errors and no runners left on base. The hitter, Scott Marty, reached at second on an error in the 2nd inning. There's a swung on, hit foul, out of play, off to the left. We don't have any statistics on Scott Marty's hitting for the year, but batting 9th in the order, he's got to be, especially in the late innings, a table setter for sophomore Robert Upchurch, the Shiloh leadoff hitter, and Scott Oakes, and headed down toward the order in the 4th and 5th place hitters, Pat Scarp and Trace Neighbors, both left-handed. Kirkus delivers. That's a curveball in the dirt. Counts now 1-1.
Glenn George with his assistant coaches. He's got Jamie Basso and Robbie Robinson, as the assistant coaches. 2 assistants, which Rockdale has never had the luxury of. Jim Mitchell has worked out with the JV program, and Ron Chapin is the lone assistant this year for Marvin Pruitt, who has been besaddled with a lot of the responsibility himself the last 2-3 years. And I'll tell you something, varsity baseball in the 8 Quad A level is just too much for one man to handle with pitching, the intricacies of hitting, as Jason Kirkus winds, delivers, and ball low. You just can't give enough individual attention to these young developing players, especially your sophomore and junior class. coming up here with just one coach, the way this has been here at Rockdale High School. So in defense of Mr. Marvin Pruitt, it's been very difficult for one man to hold the show down, and now Ron Chavin coming on board to give him a hand, thank God.
I don't mean to interrupt you here, but Chris Stevens, on the last pitch there, another one bounced in the dirt, looked like it may have hit him in the throat there, and Coach Chafin coming out to make sure everything's okay. It looks like everything's all right. Kirk is headed back out to the mound. But as you mentioned, 8 Quad A is such a competitive division from top to bottom that you have to have several people to handle all of the responsibilities as Jonathan Barbary gets up again here in the Rockdale bullpen.
Well, the Booster Club saw to it this year at Rockdale High School that they would find a definite asset to the program, and Ron Chafin looks to be that kind of man helping out Marvin Pruitt this season. The record may not show it, but there's been some strong signs made, and some of these younger players coming up and getting a chance to play and showing some good prospects and a good look for next year's talent, especially in the JV and the freshman level. First time they've had a bona fide freshman team in quite some time as far as playing a full slate of games. As Kirkus now gets back on the mound, the count is now 1-2, or 2-2, excuse me.
Kirkus with the windup and the pitch. Swung on, hit into left field. Kyle Ormsby back on it. It's a deep fly ball. He looks under it. He's got it. And that is out number 1.
Now batting, on third base, number 9, Upchurch.
Of course, Jim Mitchell will be leaving the Conyers Middle School, going to Salem. Ron Chafin will stay at Rockdale. He coached and has been coaching so well the girls' basketball team in Subregion South play. The girls finished in 2nd place this year behind Brookwood. And they should be just as strong next year. But getting back to baseball, Chafin, I'm sure, will be back here. Marvin Pruitt will be looking to work with some of these kids, especially a fall conditioning and strengthening program after they finish their summer schedule, as ball 1 is taken there from Robert Upchurch, leading off here with a base hit and a ground out his first time up.
There's a pitch, a ball down low. Count now 2-0. Kirkus falling behind the hitter Robert Upchurch, the sophomore, playing 2nd base. As you mentioned, singled, had a stolen base, seemed to be wreaking a little bit of havoc on the Rockdale defense back in the 2nd inning. That might have been the start of that rally, 6-run rally. There's a fly ball into left field. Ormsby back on it, can't handle it, it's off the wall. Upchurch headed in towards 2nd base. He's going to go in, stand up with a double.
Tough play for Ormsby there. That's not really what you call a misjudged line shot, especially with these lights sometimes when you're out there in left field and not acclimated too well, which is only the 3rd night game the Bulldogs varsity team has seen this year at their home park. And he stepped in just a bit too early, and that ball carried hard. A line shot that just never lost trajectory as it bounced off that fence in left field.
Well, you've got to remember that a ball over your head is the hardest ball to stay on track of, as Kirkus delivers a ball low here to Scott Oakes. But a ball over your head is definitely hard to keep track of, and especially when you're playing that close to the fence. He was playing deeper than normal there for Upchurch, and the ball just bounced over him.
Little guy really struck a poke that time. We didn't think he'd had that much power, for gosh sakes. Here's Kirkus. Strike call.
1-1 now the count on Scott Oakes, the center fielder in this game. He is a senior. Coach George for Shiloh starting 7 seniors, including the DH, the catcher Heron, and the first baseman Scarp, and the center fielder Oakes. There's another ball there, 2-1. The right fielder Boyd Green, also a senior, as well as the shortstop, who is being DH for in this game, Donald Miller. There's a pitch from Kirkus, and it's hit. Back to 2nd base. Chad Davis calls for it and has it for an out. 2 outs now, runner at 2nd base. David Baranowski, the 3rd baseman, coming up.
Finally, we're moving right along here tonight.
That 2nd inning was the slowest inning of high school baseball that I think I've ever watched. Gary, what about you?
40 minutes to be exact. I've seen slower, especially when I pitched. I didn't just get hit. I walked the ballpark. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for no lights, we'd still be playing that game 10 years ago. Here's a pitch from Kirkus. Ground ball. Got to get through the in. Gets by Davis. Base hit it just in the gap. Right fielder coming hard, making the throw is Clark, but in to score will be Upchurch. Rounding 3rd, headed for home, as it looked like Davis was breaking for 2nd base just as that pitch was delivered from Kirkus, and it found a hole. One of those seeing eye singles. And that knocks in the 9th run for the Shiloh Generals, Kevin.
It looked like Davis was, Chad Davis, the 2nd baseman for Rockdale, was playing a little bit over towards 2nd to possibly draw a pickoff throw. Baranowski, seeing what was going on, hit a grounder right to where Davis would have been had there not been a runner on second base, and hence another run scores with Pat Scarp, the hitter. Baranowski on first, 1 out, 1 run in this game. Score is now 9-0 Shiloh. Throw over to first. He's back there safely.
Scarp leading the team right now with 3 RBIs this game, Kevin.
3 RBIs already, and we're only in the 3rd inning, Gary.
Big night for Scarp so far. Big left-handed strapping first baseman.
There's the pitch, down low. Count now 1-0. Kirkus seems to be struggling a little bit, getting behind the hitters. He was throwing strikes there for a while, consecutive strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, seeming to look a lot better, getting the ground balls and pop flies that he needed, but he seems to be falling behind us. There's another pitch inside, 2-0 now to Scarp. Kirkus might have watched Scarp in the first inning hit that ball off the top of the fence, but it was foul. There's another pitch, line shot. Second baseman Chad Davis has it, throws on over to first. And that's out number 3 as Davis retires Scarp for the 3rd out. 1 run on 2 hits for the Shiloh Generals. No errors, and 1 runner was left on base. We will be back at Rockdale County High School in Conyers, Georgia. The East 105 Sports Exclusive.
It's quality in car care, not quantity in automobile service.
Steel belted radials. JR's Auto and Tire backs customer satisfaction with the best service in Georgia. JR's Auto and Tire has alignment specials. Only $29.95 for 2-wheel and just $49.95 for 4-wheel drive alignments. Ask for Rick Sharpton and get 5% off already rock-bottom tire prices. JR's Auto and Tire open Monday through Saturday at 2125 Sigmund Road, Conyers.
This is Larry Munson inside for Georgia Network Sports.
What's hot? They're down by 9 runs now. The Bulldogs trail the Shiloh Generals 9-0 as both these sub-region South teams wind down the regular season. Jason Keith on the mound. And Mike Norton was knocked out early. Jason Kirkus has been on the mound the past 2 innings officially for the Rockdale Bulldogs, who struck for 2 singles that last inning, but henceforth did not score a run. And now as we come up here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, we got Yarberry, Acox, and Davis to bring up the first 3 Bulldog batters against Shiloh. As our PA announcer Ryan Davis announces the leadoff hitter in this inning, Yarberry, again, calling the play-by-play for the bottom of the 3rd inning is Kevin Holden. Kevin?
All right, thanks, Gary. 9, 1, and 2 in the Rockdale order. Yarberry, Acox, and Davis. Yarberry was DH'd for in our first 2 broadcasts. He is hitting 167 on the year and 6 at-bats coming in, and he hasn't had an at-bat so far this game, Gary.
Yarberry, right-handed hitter, closed batting stance. Keith delivers, and it's a strike call.
9-0 as we mentioned. Shiloh up in the 3rd inning here as it's growing steadily colder. Here comes the pitch from Keith. Ball outside. Count now 1-1.
Kevin,
Chris Yarberry.
Who do you think has a strength this year as far as teams you've seen play, both in the sub-region north and sub-south here in Region 8 Quad A? Who do you think has a better ledger right now?
First of all, as Keith throws that strike there, count now 1-2. I've got to say Clark Central, because they have, not only do they have the power hitters and the good batting average hitters, they've got the depth in pitching, and that, I think, makes the difference in Region 8 Quad A pitching. Keith delivers. Swung on and missed. That's a strikeout. Number 5 on the game for Jason Keith.
Kevin, he got Yarberry reaching that time. It was an outside fastball. That just shows you how much Keith's fastball is tailing as he starts the ball inside. And you're seeing the catcher there, Heron, setting up inside, but that ball is just moving so fast. He's been clocked at 87 miles an hour now by the jug guns. And that ball just tailed outside, and strike call on Yarberry as he goes down waving.
Keith has the ability to make that ball tail outside or inside as Acox steps up. Here's the first pitch to him. Strike call. Looked a little bit outside, but umpire did call a strike. Our home plate umpire, Johnny Stewart, tonight. Acox on the year hitting 267. 8 RBIs, has 14 walks as opposed to 7 strikeouts, one of the best ratios on the Rockdale County team. Keith with the second pitch. Curveball was a little bit outside. 1-1 now the count.
Right now, Acox has got a little blood in his eye. He took a called third that last time up, and as you mentioned, he's had a string of 3 Ks, I believe.
3 Ks in a row. Ended up with 8 strikeouts, and 3 of them in his last 3 at-bats. As there's another called strike, count 1-2 now. Acox looks like he has a little bit of a bad view of the strike zone.
And looks like Stewart's going to have a little chat. Yes, he will. The plate umpire is going to chat with Aycock, saying no more, we don't need any more linguistics, please, or verbal gestures here in your part. I'm the show. You just play ball. As Pruitt comes down and makes sure that Aycock knows who's in charge.
That's one of those things that you've got to watch here in high school baseball. But, of course, the umpire, Johnny Stewart, getting him straight as Keith delivers. So on hit off to the left, out of play.
Aycock is a very good two-strike hitter. He's one of the key men that Rockdale depends on to get on base. And, of course, as he goes, the team has gone this year as a catalyst. And with 2 strikes, you're going to see some good bat control, hopefully, here for the Rockdale Bulldogs senior shortstop, Aycock.
Keith of the pitch, a curve ball ended up way outside and down. Count 2-2 now.
Well, you know, what do you think about the Sub-Region North? You got Parkview and, of course, Heritage. We'll talk about that after this pitch from Keith, as it's now 2-2 on Mickey Aycock. But we'll talk about Parkview and Heritage.
There's another ball outside now, a full count, payoff pitch about to come here.
Kevin, your opinion real quickly on the Sub-Region North. Who do you think really has the strength on that side of the board?
I've got to say that Parkview and Heritage are almost evenly matched up. Even though Heritage has only lost 1 game, it was to Parkview, and Parkview looked really impressive, shutting out Heritage 3-0. As here comes the payoff pitch from Keith. Swung on, hit out behind the press box, out of play. Gives us a chance to talk a little bit more about this.
It's a good point you're making there about the parity, I think, between those 2 teams. I think Parkview's got a little more explosiveness as far as at the bat. Heritage, again, for a team that won the sub-region, or let's say will clinch it by beating Meadow Creek in a make-up game, which more than likely will happen tomorrow or Thursday. The Parkview Panthers, they're batting .285 as a team compared to Heritage's .258, and that's just not going to do it. They got 3 hit yesterday against Parkview. And as a foul ball, again, Aycock dribbles it foul, staying in there, hanging tight. That's 3 foul balls now for him. But you look at a team like that, of course, Parkview they got a lot more depth, I think, in the bullpen than Heritage does. Parkview, they had a good game from Tom Neville that threw a 6-hitter against Heritage. The Patriots batting only .258, as I said, and they've been relying on Chuck Patterson, and Jimmy McDaniel all season long as a 1-2 combo. As Aycock continues to fight off here, the duel between Keith and Aycock, 2 seniors locking horns here, Kevin. That's the only thing that I see as far as a disparity in the Sub-North. There's not as much depth, not as much hitting explosion as there is in Sub-South right now in the teams that I've seen with Newton County and Clark Central.
Here comes another pitch from Keith. Pop foul behind the catcher.
Right back.
Watch it go out of play.
Kevin, you almost got your glove on that one, buddy. Nice catch. Just put down those French fries and drop the mic and see if you can snag something up there.
All right.
Your baseball.
All right. It's that eating habit during the ball game. Going back to Parkview and Heritage here. Parkview has such muscular players. They almost look like Parkview Junior College. A lot of power hitters, and when they played at Heritage last year, several home runs in just a few games playing down at Heritage. Here comes the pitch from Keith. Called strike 3. That's 4 strikeouts in a row for Aycock. 2 outs. And that's 4 consecutive strikeouts for Keith, 6 on the game, and only 2 2/3 innings pitched. He's looked mighty impressive so far.
That's just one of those pitches, I think, Kevin, that Aycock just was looking for that fastball. That was just a pitch that just outfoxed him. He wasn't looking for the curve. Keith threw him a couple curve balls that he fouled off, and he was looking for some straight heat in that outside corner and curved him on the inside. So you can't fault Mickey on that play. That was just a heck of a pitch by Keith.
There's a curveball down in the dirt. Now the count 1-0 to Chad Davis. Davis on the year hitting .224, 15 hits and 67 at-bats. Has 8 RBIs on the year. Another impressive stat, 10 walks as opposed to 11 strikeouts. Here comes the pitch from Keith, the 1-0 pitch. Called another ball, down and inside. Count now 2-0 to Chad Davis.
Chad Davis is your quintessential team player. This gentleman played basketball for Cleveland Stroud here at Rockdale High School, a team that was mired with controversy this past winter, and of course now has been a staple on the defense, and the ground ball to shortstop. No problem there for Shiloh's shortstop. In the dirt, and he's going to be safe. A bad throw coming up with an easy play.
Donald Miller with the error on that play.
Don Miller, that was a second chance he's had fielding defensively. First time, no problem. He made a clean play in the field, and just a poor throw as he just kind of aimed it and didn't just rear back and let it fly. 2 outs.
He may have been a little bit back on his heels as Keith, as we mentioned before, 4 strikeouts in a row. And, of course, that really long second inning, we keep referring to it. It has a great bearing on this ball game in more ways than one. And the defense, as you mentioned, may have been a little bit back on its heels. And the error, of course, coming there by Donald Miller as we have Hester coming up, the left-handed batter, Hester.
Hester grounded out his first time at bat to second base. Made a great catch out there at center field. Also made one heck of a throw. two defensive gems. As a ground ball hit far to first base, and the first baseman's going to take it all himself. As Scarab hustles over and makes a fine play defensively, as Keith was over there in time to make the assist, but Scarab takes it all himself. Kevin, take us home.
All right, that's the end of it. The end of the third inning there. No runs, no hits. No one left on base, and one error by the shortstop there. We'll be back. East 105 AM. Going through the time and trouble of bagging your grass clippings, now's the time to quit, because right now at Cow and Ace Hardware, Toro recycling mowers are on sale. Toro recycling mowers have a patented system that cuts clippings into fine pieces and puts them back into your lawn. In fact, Toro recycling mowers cut clippings so fine they decompose faster, becoming a natural fertilizer for your lawn, so you get a healthy and beautiful lawn without bagging. Have a big lawn? Cow and Ace Hardware has big savings on Toro wheel, horse tractors, and riding mowers, too. Every series is available with Toro's exclusive recycler mowing system, and you can buy that Toro with no payments and no interest until October. So hurry down to Cow and Ace Hardware and see the special savings on Toro recycler mowers and Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers. Either way, you'll save while getting a healthy, beautiful lawn without bagging. Now, haven't you done without a Toro long enough? Stop by Cow and Ace Hardware, 1264 Green Street in Conyers.
Glidden Paints has April promotions going.
Rockdale County High School, Conyers, Georgia. Rockdale and Shiloh hooking it up. So far, Shiloh with the advantage, a big advantage, 9-0. Kirk is taking his warm-up pitches, and here to take you the rest of the way this inning is Gary Klumpp.
Thanks, Kevin. A little bit of sports news update while Kirkus finishes his warm-up tosses. Tuesday, April 30th at noon at the Nancy Gwynn Library, the Rockdale Conyers Olympic Task Force will have their equestrian meeting event for the 96 Olympiad right there as the steam continues to build for Olympics here in Rockdale County. Not to mention what's happening out there in Lithonia, as Liz Mitchell will be at the Decatur Square tomorrow on April 24th. That'll be at noon as Lithonia kicks off its own personal quest for a tennis venue from the Blackburn Park, which negated its own choice, and they decided to go on and let parlay from there, and Lithonia is in the bidding for a tennis venue for the Olympic Games in '96. It's a ground ball to third base. Misplayed there, as right away Shiloh jumps on. Trace Neighbors will be on first base on an error from the third baseman there. Mike Yarbury misplayed it. Hard ground ball to third. Man at first. That's Trace Neighbors. Getting back to sports news, Dennis Watson, the Parkview head coach for you Gwinnett County listeners and East 105 AM parameters. Dennis Watson, head coach for 4 years for the Parkview Panthers, resigned today. We've got a gentleman to my left, James Wyndham of the Rockdale Citizen. He's been covering the pulse beat of all the happenings here. Line shot to second base. Shortstop is, Mickey Acox makes a play, and he gets the force at second. Good play by Acox at short. Is a hard shot right off the bat from Boyd Green. Doesn't handcuff Acox enough to make the force at second as Acox and Chad Davis come in. Jamie Wyndham. Jamie, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming up on the air.
Thanks, Gary. Nice to be here.
All right, we've got runners now at first base, one down, and Jason Keith now, who's pitching a fine ball game, shutout ball so far, as Green grounds out 6-4, in case you're scoring. Jason Keith now getting out of the box, and Stevens talks to his pitcher, Kirkus. Jamie, you've seen Sub-Region South action a little more intricately than some of these other sports writers have, and you're new to the Rockdale Citizen local paper here in the Rockdale County area, formerly of Newton County and coming to the news. You can tell us about Newton County in just a minute as we look at a pitch on the outside corner, just misses there from Kirkus. Ball 1 to Keith. Tell me what you think about the Sub-South, and especially Newton County now with Charlie Beverly taking his team for, I believe, the third consecutive year to the playoffs.
Well, it's really been a strange run for Newton County. Nobody expected that team to be in the region playoffs at this time. It surprised everybody. Charlie had one pitcher returning from last year, one starting pitcher, had to build around a freshman last year, Anthony Green.
Has a base hit up the middle for Keith. Into center field, rounding second, then the old hold up at second base is Trace Neighbors. Neighbors was heading for third, but he pulled up with one out. Jason Keith with a line shot single to center field. Runners at first and second base now with one down here. Rockdale back in double play depth. Newton County, let's talk about that quest. They had some tough roads to hoe, but they just seem to pull together at the very nick of time to just finish right behind Clark Central.
Well, you know, Gary, it hasn't been that unusual from the last 2 years. Newton County had 3 sub-region losses last year, 3 sub-region the year before, 3 sub-region losses the year before, and they're still in it. They're still in the playoff hunt. Well, they've clinched a playoff berth, as a matter of fact, against the Shiloh team on Saturday. But it's a tribute to Clark Central. What a tremendous year they've had. Gotten great pitching and terrific hitting. I don't know how much that had to do with the defection of Coach Rich Autry from Newton County over to Clark Central. I tease him about that when I see him, but they've really come on well, played well.
Pick-off attempt by Kirkus at first base, and Keith is back in time. First and second, Shiloh has the lead. We're in the top of the fourth. Ball outside, and the count is now 2-0. 2-0. The batter here is Chad Heron, the catcher. Heron has got a base hit, scored a run, and also was part of that double play, that wild, zany double play for the Rockdale Bulldogs when Chris Hesser made a fine play out in center field and threw out a runner coming in to score. Also, you've covered a little bit of the NFL draft. There was a Newton County resident that is part of football history now with, I believe, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, Jake Reed, selected 68th overall pick, picked in the 3rd round. Receiver he played tailback and some receiver out of the wing back position at Grambling State University. Played for legendary coach Eddie Robinson, and he's looking to do well with Minnesota. He as he said about Anthony Carter, he's going to be behind Anthony Carter and Hassan Jones up there, but.
And we get a payoff pitch now as Heron waves it. Strike 2. The count is full. Runners at first and second. Well, you've been here for about almost a month now in Rockdale County, covering the Rockdale sporting scene. Spring sports seems to be the bevy of beauty here for Rockdale. And of course, you're looking at the crosstown rival Heritage. The boys and girls soccer teams coming on, and there's a foul ball dribble foul there by Heron. Of course, Rockdale's boys varsity team will be playing this Friday night against the Heritage varsity boys soccer team, a team that they haven't beaten in 12 years of history here. So I guess when you're going to be up there at Reed Stadium, just to the left here of the baseball diamond, there's going to be an exciting format there to be covering.
Oh, that's terrific. I can't say how excited we are that the Region Soccer Championship will be between Rockdale and Heritage. That's just terrific. It comes down to 2 Rockdale County teams battling out for the Region Championship. You just can't say enough about that. But we do have, you know, the 2 Rockdale teams and the 2 Heritage teams will both be going to the playoffs. And then you have Heritage for baseball and Newton County for baseball. You have 6 total teams from this area going to the playoffs in spring sports.
Excellent representation. That's the first time in soccer history that this county's seen 4 teams, girls and boys, going to the sub-region, let's say, the postseason playoffs in soccer, as far as varsity soccer, girls and boys action. Strike call there on Scott Marty. As while we were talking there, Heron took a swinging strike 3, and there's now 2 outs with runners at first and second base. Scott Marty, he flied out and was safe on an error his first time up. 0 for 1, 0 for 2 officially. Ground ball to second base. Davis bobbles it, but comes up with it in control. Throw to first and got him. Good play, good recovery by Chad Davis. Jamie Wyndham will be staying with us through the bottom of the 4th inning for the Rockdale Bulldogs. But in the top of the 4th, for the Shiloh Generals, they got no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 error. 2 men left on base. The score after 3.5 innings of play. Shiloh 9, Rockdale nothing. We'll pause for station identification and a word from our sponsors on East 105 AM Sports. Classic Billiards has 5,000 square feet to fit 15 pool tables and a video game room along with a hot grill snack. We're down by 9-0 here. The Shiloh Generals have the lead here as both teams wind down their sub-region South slate. Up to bat will be Ormsby, Kirkus, and Crumbly for the Rockdale Bulldogs, who are down by 9. Jason Keith just cruising along here right now with a 2-hitter as the Bulldogs come up here in the bottom of the 4th inning here. We're talking with Jamie Wyndham, Rockdale Citizen sports writer. One more comment, Jamie. I know that you've also been on top of the equestrian scene here as far as Matt Dixon and other people. We're going to be talking with Liz Mitchell weekly from Lithonia. She'll be giving us weekly updates as far as what Lithonia is doing at the tennis venue. But what are your perceptions? What's the feeling within the community that you've let's say, more or less sensed the last couple of weeks since you've been on the beam here with some of the staff writers there at the Rockdale Citizen covering the attitude right now about the Olympics in '96 and getting an equestrian event here in Rockdale County?
Well, Gary, I haven't actually covered any of the equestrian developments here in Rockdale County, but obviously everybody's excited about it. It's big news. It's something everybody wants to read about, and it develops a very positive image for this community and puts Rockdale County at the forefront of some state attention. And if they do land the venue, then you have forefront of worldwide attention.
That'd be something, having Lithonia as Ormsby takes a swing, and that's now 1-1 on Kyle Ormsby. Ormsby has struck out swinging his first time at bat right before Kirkus and Crumley banged back-to-back singles in the second inning there. All right. We got a 1-1 pitch. Well, if Lithonia gets a tennis venue, you're looking at Rockdale County, possibly with the equestrian venue. Mm-hmm. We're talking two cities within about 8 to 10 miles apart. As far as logistics and demographics are concerned, as well as location geographically, that may not be feasible as far as the infrastructure and the congestion of traffic down Interstate 20 in these little communities.
Well, obviously, this area's never seen anything like what the Olympics would bring in here, so that does pose some interesting problems.
Keith just airs out a wild fastball there, and the count goes to 1-2. So far, as far as what you've seen with spring sports, and of course, spring football coming up, and we've got a second time around there for Harold Johnson in Newton County. You'll be covering him, and of course, Heritage staying strong here in Rockdale County with Joe Smith. And Rockdale brings in the new regime under Dr. Jenny Farmer, who talked with us last Saturday. You got Scott Woodall, formerly of Cedar Shoals. Your observations on that right now as far as the football camps?
Well, obviously, Rockdale helped itself a lot. I think while I knew Coach Beggs and liked him a lot personally, Rockdale helped themselves. I think went out and got somebody from a very strong program. And that's always a good start. That's always a good place to build.
Ormsby strikes out swinging. Jamie Wyndham, staff writer for the Rockdale Citizen. We want to thank you very much, Jamie, for coming on. And, of course, the Newton County listeners know you very well from the Covington News. And a fine staff writer, fine sports beat reporter, and also an excellent journalist with radios. He's done a lot of radio broadcasts back at the Newton County station. We want to thank you very much, Jamie, for coming up here.
Well, thank you, Gary, for letting me be a part of this historic broadcast.
That's right. First night game ever in Rockdale County on East 105 AM. We'll see you at Friday night. That big game with Heritage Rockdale County for the girls and boys soccer games to find out who really is a region champion. Those soccer games begin at 6 o'clock for the girls, 8 o'clock for the guys at Reed Memorial Stadium in Conyers here in Rockdale County. There's a ball outside now. The count is now 3-1. 3-1 on Kirkus. Kirkus slapped a single his first time up. He's in place of Mike Norton, pitching as well as in his hitting slot. Jason Kirkus, Wayne, young, string bean, lanky kind of guy. Pitch from Keith. Strike, but it looks like we had a little mix-up there as Heron lets the ball just kind of skip back. Hard outside fastball. Keith gets a call, strike. We got a payoff pitch now, 3-2.
One outside note here, as you mentioned, while Jamie Wyndham was talking to us, I was taking a look across the Reed Stadium complex, and it looks like
about it, you start concentrating, putting too much pressure on yourself in the batter's box, and everything else falls apart because you take everybody else's advice.
Absolutely, and it's making the Shiloh pitcher Jason Keith as there's a ground ball to shortstop. The shortstop there, Miller with the play.
And that'll be an error as he never came up with it. Again, his third try, fielded cleanly, but he bobbled the ball. And that's an error charged to the shortstop, no question about that. Mr. Miller, Don Miller, playing at shortstop. One of those kind of things where he's not batting, so he's only got one chance to shine, and that's on defense. And when you're starting to bobble balls, you start pressing yourself even more because you want to have that chance to come into the bat and avenge for maybe a defensive lapse.
That's his second error on the game so far. He made an error in the third inning and one here in the fourth inning on the hit there by Crumley. He came up with it what looked like cleanly at first and then bobbled it.
All right, and at first base, that's Crumley, safe on an error. And now it's Stevens, the catcher. Stevens takes a swing and a miss. Stevens struck out his first time up, swinging. One of the 8 strikeouts, as Kevin Holden mentioned. Keith just barreling right along here, showing some great stuff in the middle innings of the game. They lead 9-0 over Rockdale. Stevens, little loop-de-doop. That's going to be a bleeding single, wipe the blood off the bat kind of a thing as a Texas Lubra gets in there, sends a flare to right field. And the Bulldogs have 2 men aboard now. And let's see what can happen now as Stevens singles. That's Crumbly at second, Stevens at first, and up to bat is Derek Clark.
Hit number 3 there for the Bulldogs. All 3 so far have been singles, and even though there's a first and second and 2-out situation, Shiloh certainly does not look like a team that has gone 2-6 in the sub-region so far.
No, they haven't. Well, they're having fun. They know there's no pressure on them. They're playing out the season. They've only got 1 game left, and just like Rockdale's got 2 games left. They got Berkmar tomorrow here at home, the last home game. They play Duluth also at home, a non-region game. That'll be rescheduled, I believe, sometime before the end of the week comes up. Swing and a miss by Clark, because the playoffs will have to start April 30th at Shiloh. The team we're seeing right now will be hosting the playoffs on their home turf. Beautiful ballpark out there at Shiloh as the first rounds begin for both sub-region South and North teams. So they got to get that game in before April 30th. So I take it that sometime by Friday or Saturday, we'll see that Duluth team come in. Swing and a miss. And that is now, the count is 0-2. As the right fielder, Clark, trying to dig in and keep fanning a rally here. Fan the flames for the Bulldogs here with runners at first and second. A pitch from Keith. Swung on and missed. And that'll do it. With 2 outs, that'll be out number 3. Clark strands 2 Bulldogs aboard. And the Dogs continue to have their problems offensively. Shiloh 9, Rockdale nothing. We're at the end of 4 here at Rockdale County's Bulldog Stadium. Gary Klumpp, Kevin Holden, East 105, Sports Exclusive. We'll be back after these messages from our station, as well as our sponsors on East 105 AM radio.
Was on daily on AM 1050 WCBE Conyers.
Back here at Rockdale County High School on East 105 AM reminder. This Thursday at 5:25, the debut broadcast of the Olympic Centennial Update with Liz Mitchell from Lithonia as she tries to bring Lithonia the tennis venue for the Olympic Games, just as Rockdale continues to pursue for the equestrian. Again, that meeting is going to be April 30th at the Nancy Gwynn Library. I had it wrong last time, for gosh sakes. Nancy Gwynn Library, the fine new facility right out there at Green Street. As Robert Upchurch begins to make his strides now to the plate. That's April 30th, 12 noon at the Nancy Gwynn Library. The Equestrian Committee will be meeting with interested Rockdale County residents wanting to take part in that feat to get the Olympic Games here in Rockdale County in the equestrian events. And it's 1 ball, no strikes here. The count to Upchurch. Upchurch grounded out to second base first time up. Singled, stole the base second time up. Scored 2 runs as his last time up he walked. Shot. That'll get a base hit past Acox as it hits right to his left in between him and Davis. Good, hard, crisp single as he slaps it back up the box. So Upchurch is on first base in the top of the 5th inning. And that brings up center fielder Scotty Oakes, who's got, he's 1 for 2, a base hit, scored a run. He walked, stole a base, scored another run. He popped out to second base his last time up. 1 for 2 officially for Oakes. Right-handed hitter. Closed batting stance, hugs that plate very closely. Kirkus kicks and delivers. Gets by Stevens. That's going to advance a man. That'll be a wild pitch to Jason Kirkus. Second one of the game for him is Robert Upchurch, the leadoff hitter, shows his speed and breaks for second base. Man at second base. There's nobody out.
There's Robert Upchurch out there on second base again. So far, 3 for 4 in the game. 2 singles, a double, and a ground out to begin the game.
Here's Oakes now taking a look down to George, the head coach, Glenn George. A veteran here in the Gwinnett County school system, coaching staff. Last time this team won a championship was 1987. Very fine and proud program. They've had their troubles this year, though, with some bad mistakes, some defensive breakdowns, and just untimely hitting, especially in the clutch with men on base in scoring position. They've averaged 8 men left on bases per game. Fly ball to left. That's curving foul. Ormsby giving chase and will not get to it. Good hustle by Ormsby as Oakes slaps it down the line, and the fly ball fades and carries foul.
That ball's a little bit out of Ormsby's reach there, but it definitely was good hustle on his part, and it's something that people such as Ormsby and Mickey Acox, Mike Norton, and Jason Kirkus, as well as Ryan Kelly and Kevin Miller, all 6 of them are going to play Legion ball this summer.
2 balls and 1 strike now is the count to Scotty Oakes. Oakes digging in. Man at second base is Upchurch. There's a fly ball. First base line coming over, making a fine play at first. Good play by Crumbly. Crumbly with those gangly legs, 38 inches, just pumping those pistons and got over there in time to make a good play defensively. Sloan Crumbly.
Crumbly's been looking very solid defensively so far this game. We saw him catch a line shot back in the first.
That's right. And that's one down. Oakes pops out, and now here comes Baranowski, Dave Baranowski, who has walked, flied out, and not going to run with his last time up with a base hit. Baranowski, long loping swing, backs that Easton up tight now as he cranks that right shoulder up top. One of those things, you think that when you look at a young kid like Baranowski, well, actually, I believe he's a senior, is that correct? But nevertheless, young individual that's looking maybe towards getting baseball beyond his high school years, you would think that he would take that bat off his right shoulder, but he just has that powerful, quick wrist that no matter where he puts that bat up there, it's kind of like the old Carl Yastrzemski. Just bring it down and take a smooth cut. Here's the pitch from Kirkus. Strike one. That's ball one, strike one. 1-1. The count to Baranowski.
You're mentioning Baranowski and his batting stance. He does have another year here. He is a junior, so Coach George has a little bit more time to teach him a little bit about batting stance.
Well, it certainly doesn't seem to affect him. He's very successful the way it is right now. Kind of an unorthodox bat prop, though, on his right shoulder as he keeps that right shoulder up high and the elbow cocked.
The funny thing is, how many people have we seen from high school on up to the majors with unorthodox batting stances that are really successful?
That's true. It just goes to show whatever fits, whatever makes you feel comfortable. There's a line shot, pulled it foul. No problem getting around on that pitch. You would think that a guy that has such a high form, keeping that bat cranked on the top like he does, and that right elbow so high, would have a little problem getting around in a hard fastball or a curve. But Kirkus doesn't have the overpowering stuff, but he does have good off-speed curves and a good fine selection when he drops down to that side. And he's pitched a reasonably well ball game. When you think about well-thrown ball game in relief of Mike Norton, has not pitched too bad. Showed a lot of savvy and grit out there. We'll have the stats on that as you look into it as we go into the 6th inning. Right now, it's the top of the 5th of a 7-inning ball game here. 7 innings in high school baseball, 8 quad A. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. Good pitch from Kirkus, a high heater. That time, he just reared back and let it fly. Got plenty behind that one, and Barano is definitely on Fox looking for that curve as he swings at a high fastball.
Goes back to what we mentioned before about getting around on the fastball. It certainly looked on that one line shot foul that he didn't seem to have any problem, but he had a little bit of a problem getting around there. And here comes Scarup.
And Scarup has done some damage, 3 RBIs against the Bulldogs, swing and a miss on a low curve. That time he took something off, change of speeds. Kirkus starting to bull his neck out there, getting a little arrogant and cocky, I tell you. You can see him getting sock full of sass here now as he's seeing a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel here. God willing, if his offensive mates can get some runs on the board, we just might have a ball game after all here as a curveball slides way outside, misses 1-1. Stevens comes up with it. Upchurch at second base. He's single and stole. Single in the advance to base on the pass ball. Ground ball. Tough play for Kirkus coming over. Makes a toss and a fine play as Jason Kirkus fields his position well, flipping the ball to Sloan Crumbly, and that'll be the side retired for the Shiloh Generals. No runs in the inning. 1 hit. There was no errors. 1 man left on base. The Bulldogs have got to get something going here, punch some holes in the defense of the Shiloh Generals and get to Jason Keith now as they're trailing 9-0 heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll be back on East 105 AM. A word from our sponsors and back to the studio. East 105 AM Sports Exclusive. I'm Gary Klumpp. Kevin Holden, thank you very much for being with us.
If you're still going through the time and trouble of bagging your grass clippings, now's the time to quit, because right now at Cowan Ace Hardware, Toro Recycler Mowers are on sale. Toro Recycler Mowers have a patented system that cuts clippings into fine pieces and puts them back into your lawn. In fact, Toro Recycler Mowers cut clippings so fine they decompose faster, becoming a natural fertilizer for your lawn, so you get a healthy and beautiful lawn without bagging. Have a big lawn? Cowan Ace Hardware has big savings on Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers, too. Every series is available with Toro's exclusive recycler mowing system, and you can buy that Toro with no payments and no interest until October. So hurry down to Cowan Ace Hardware and see the special savings on Toro recycler mowers and Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers. Either way, you'll save while getting a healthy, beautiful lawn without bagging. Now, haven't you done without a Toro long enough? Stop by Callan Ace Hardware, 1264 Green Street in Conyers.
Classic Billiards has 5,000 square feet to fit 15 pool tables and a video game room, along with a hot grill snack bar serving fresh chili dogs and turkey burgers. Tuesdays is United States Pool Players Tournament night, along with regular pool playing hours from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. weekdays and 1 p.m. to 2 a.m. Saturdays. Sunday hours are from 6 p.m. to midnight. Classic Billiards, 1211 Royal Drive, Conyers, just off exit 41 on Interstate 20 eastbound. Classic Billiards, where family-oriented pool is played for the fun of the game. No alcohol permitted, please.
I'm Richard Warner on the Money Line. I'll keep you up to date on the latest financial information and news. It's the Money Line twice a day on WPBE Conyers, where we mean business.
All right, if you're just pulling up a chair and you got the radio blaring here in East 105 AM, and you got that second cold one sitting on your lap, yes it is, it's 9-0, but don't turn that channel. Don't put on the TV reruns, because after all, the Bulldogs have been known for late inning explosions before, maybe a couple of years ago, but this team certainly is adept to do that with no run for the bus mentality here. They're trailing by 9. It is the bottom of the 5th inning, and we've already got some offensive changes here to maybe jog this offensive lineup and get a couple of runs. Coming in for Yarbury will be Tim Moore, a reserve catcher. We saw him play behind the backstop there, the first broadcast against Heritage. Big, rangy right-handed hitter. Kevin Holden will have the line score in just a minute for both teams as Jason Keith, who needs no line except for domination, as he has just reared back and blown right by the Bulldogs, giving up just 2 hits so far. Make that 3 hits so far in the game, and he struck out 9 Bulldog hitters. Kevin, what do you got for the line score so far?
All right, so far, Shiloh, 9 runs on 11 hits. There have been 4 Rockdale errors as there's a foul ball out of play off to our right. Shiloh has also left 7 men on base. For Rockdale, no runs on 3 hits. There have been 2 Shiloh errors. That's a combination of 6 errors in the game. We're only in the bottom of the 5th, and Rockdale has left 5 men on.
Okay. That'll do it to you. 5 men on base. Anytime there's over 4, that's usually too many runners, too many pigeons on the pond there. They're just waiting for that one key hit to scamper those runs across. And that's been a problem that's plagued the Bulldogs all season, just like Shiloh, leaving a lot of men in scoring position, not getting the clutch hit, not being patient, not being selective at the plate. Here's Moore, the pitch from Keith. Ground ball, hard to second base. And easy play there for the Shiloh second baseman. And that is Robbie Upchurch. Upchurch makes a play, 4-3 if you're scoring at home now. 1 up and 1 away for the Bulldogs, and that brings up the leadoff man, Mickey Acox, as Moore grounds out 4-3. Kevin, Mickey Acox, you got to see a guy like this get on base. If it's going to start now, Mickey Acox is the man to deliver with the bat. Acox called twice on strikeouts. Keith delivers. Ground ball up the middle. Tough play for Upchurch. Ranging to his left, throws, makes a good play. Good, crisp throw to get out Mickey Acox, a speedy shortstop, outfielder extraordinaire for the Bulldogs. And you can see that knee injury starting to give him a little bit of a problem as he's lumbering down to first base.
Well, at least he's broken that string. There are 4 consecutive strikeouts. What you're looking for in a leadoff hitter most of the time is that on-base percentage. And strikeouts out of a leadoff hitter usually aren't that good, but you're right, that knee injury sometimes can definitely hurt.
I don't think last year, if that ball was hit the same place last year, there would be no chance for Upchurch making that play, but you can see him limping back to the dugout that Acox is certainly affected by that injury that he sustained last fall. All right, here's Chad Davis, 2 up and 2 down. Keith working his way with a big bender, busting off a sidearm curve. Chad Davis. Davis grounded out to the pitcher, been safe on an error, 0 for 2 on the year. Davis struggling at the plate at a 194 clip, a 224 clip. 224, and I'm sure the percentage dropped a couple of digits with 0 for 2 performance so far. Chad Davis, lean, heady, intelligent baseball player. A lot of savvy out there, a lot of leadership. Chad Davis, quiet type of player. Doesn't really, not really the holler guy that you're going to find in the locker room or the dugout, but he leads by example. A fine student in his scholastic ability, and he will go on far in his vocational pursuits. Okay. Now the count is now at 2-1, 2 outs. The Dogs are trailing by 9. Ground ball to short. Easy play. Fires, and for the first time, he gets a nice hand from his Shiloh fans as Donnie Miller comes up clean after 2 errors there earlier on. So the Dogs quietly again as the choke chain is applied by the Shiloh Generals, pulling back on the collar of the Bulldogs as they appear a little more listless here in the late innings with the offensive bats. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. The score at the end of 5 complete. Shiloh 9, Rockdale nothing. We'll be back from a word from our sponsors on East 105 AM. Live baseball here at Rockdale against Shiloh. Glidden Paints has April promotions going on at all locations in the Conyers. Okay, thank you very much for getting back here with us. Hope you're enjoying a ball game here. Live broadcast from Rockdale County, Conyers, Georgia. The Bulldogs are down by 9. They're out to break a 14-game losing streak, while Shiloh tries to play out for a little bit of pride and winning at least 4 games in the very tough Sub-Region South. Bulldogs 0-11 in Sub-Region South play, as we have a new Bulldog pitcher, and that is, Kevin?
Jonathan Barbary.
Jonathan Barbary will get a chance to see some action. We'll get a little live score on him. We want to thank, at this point in the ball game, as we go to the top of the 6th inning, our sponsors: Cowan Hardware, Green Street Restaurant, Glidden Paints, Classic Billiards, JR Tire, and Plaza Cleaners. We want to thank you all for getting on board and helping us bring this broadcast, beaming it home to the 6 county-wide 1.5 listeners of East 105 AM.
Trust me, Mitch, this station has more than 1.5 listeners, maybe 5 or 6 listeners.
Trace Neighbors, and here to bring the play-by-play in the 6th inning, Kevin Holden.
All right, Trace Neighbors, Boyd Green, Jason Keith, your 3 hitters off of the new pitcher, Jonathan Barbary. It's an easy line score. He hasn't pitched yet on the Rockdale varsity. Here comes the first pitch from Jonathan Barbary. Fastball high over the catcher's head now. Jonathan Barbary looking a little bit nervous out there. First pitch over the catcher's head. Just got to relax a little bit.
I think we better put that screen down in front of the back, not in front of the backstop. We better put that backstop here a little closer to the press box, for God's sakes. I don't want to catch a fastball in the teeth.
Pitch number 2 from Barbary. Swung on and missed. 1-1.
He's got that. I think he's got our batter up there a little fidgety right now. Not sure where the heck that ball's going. That's pretty effective stuff when you think about it. The old Nolan Ryan trick.
Absolutely.
Throw it behind his head.
In his old days. There's a foul off back to the backstop there, 1-2. He seems to have settled down there those last 2 pitches.
2 quick zips. He's got a little more pop than Kirkus. There's no question about that. As the Shiloh Generals are going to have to adjust, and as you're taking a good look at Trace Neighbors, he's taking a good look at Glenn George down there, saying, "Hey man, this guy's got some pop. He's got some zip." A little bit of mustard gas in that fastball.
It's just got to keep that fastball down from over the catcher's head. Everything will be fine. Trace Neighbors DHing for Donald Miller out at shortstop. Barbary looks in for the sign, nods, and the pitch. Oh, inside.
Just a bit inside. And Neighbors getting very nervous out there. You can see him starting to wipe the sweat off the collar.
Neighbors about as nervous as Barbary is right now. Barbary just needs to settle down, throw some strikes. Just looks a little bit nervous, maybe been surprised by the decision to put him in. There's a pitch right down the middle, fly out to center field. And it's going to fall in for a base hit there in front of the center fielder, Chris Hester. That's a single for Trace Neighbors. He's now on first base, nobody out, and Boyd Green, the right fielder, is up. Jonathan Barbary. We're going to get a chance to see him pitching from the stretch now, Gary.
Now batting the right fielder, number 12.
Jonathan Barbary. I'm not sure what his class is, but we have any stats on him?
Now, he hasn't pitched any at the varsity level. That one pitch that we saw, that was his first pitch at the varsity level.
All right, JV player up to, as you can see, Coach Marvin Pruitt bringing up the recruits, giving these guys some game action at the varsity level, getting that seasoned game experience.
Well, that ball sails inside past the catcher. That's an easy second base there for Trace Neighbors. That pitch was up over Boyd Green's head. Wild pitch there. 2-3 years from now, they'll look back and they'll laugh about this. Barbary will be striking out plenty of hitters here at Rockdale County High School, and they'll be looking back and laughing at his first outing.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, I like, he's got rough mechanics, but he's got one heck of an arm. He is quick. He's got a good leg drive. You just got to get his shoulders a little more positioned to drive down off that mound and push off a little more with that right leg, but he's got a good live arm. Raw talent here. He just needs to be directed a little bit as far as his mechanics and work on that motion, especially from the set position.
All right, Gary, let me ask you a question. When you first played varsity baseball, there's a strike right down the pipe. When you first played varsity baseball, the first time you went out there and pitched varsity baseball in high school, how did you feel?
Well, I couldn't find the belt buckle because my heart was down to my socks and sweating bullets. I couldn't even see the catcher because I was just dizzy.
As another pitch swung on, a little blooper into center field, and it's going to fall in front of the base hit.
Gosh.
Neighbors is going to go over third. It's a close play at third. He's going to be safe.
Bang, bang plays. Runners at first and third now as a flare drops in off the bat of Boyd Green.
All right, Gary, we just found out here Jonathan Barbary is a freshman, so he's definitely getting his first opportunity. He must have shown some great stuff down there at the freshman level.
Runners now at first and third base. Barbary Strong, strapping. Look at the size of those legs. You can tell he's matured quick and will continue to grow, adding on some poundage there to that already impressive frame.
It's going to be really successful here in a few years at varsity baseball.
Well, they could use some up-and-coming strong arms. They've had a dearth of pitching prospects after Kevin Miller went down. And of course, Mike Norton tired and having to pitch as much as he has, and Chad Davis last year. Al Sadler was a great star for 2 or 3 years for this Bulldogs team, playing in Middle Georgia now, and also a prospect of the Padres. And Kevin Miller, who went down earlier this year. Hopefully, he'll have a strong summer season.
There's a pitch from Barbary, swung on, hit deep into left center field. Hornsby goes back, looks up. It's out of here. 3-run home run. Jason Keith for the pitcher. 3-run homer there. Jason Keith. Jonathan Barbary facing his first 3 varsity hitters. A single. Wild pitch him to second. Another single. And then a home run here. Jason Keith being his own star of the game.
Getting baptized under fire. Welcome to varsity baseball, Mr. Barbary. I'll tell you. But that's okay. The young man is just going to have to realize that can't rock his confidence. He's up there for one reason, getting some game experience under fire. Although the game is now 12-0 and well out of Rockdale's hands, these are the kind of things he's just going to have to shrug off and say, okay, it was a bad pitch. I got it upstairs. I made a mistake. I'll learn from that. And that's the kind of attitude this kid is going to have, I'm sure, because you can tell he's game. He's very, very enthused. He's a competitor. He just wants that ball back, and let's get back to action. Let's just get the next batter up there. I know what I did wrong.
The catcher Stevens and the third baseman Yarbrough coming in to give him a little pep talk there. Everything should be all right. He's going to be settling down here, hopefully. Hopefully for Coach Pruitt, he'll be settling down as he's facing Chad Heron, the catcher.
All right, it's 12-0. And, Kevin, I sure hope you haven't had dinner yet, or you're not waiting for dinner.
Right? Catcher number 19, Chad Heron.
Oh, here.
In case Mrs. Holden is listening, back in Rockdale County, we'll take 2 burgers and fries and maybe some of that nice classic Coke. Thank you very much. We're here at Rockdale High School.
Well, we had a little bit of Domino's pizza before the game, so we're okay for right now. Here comes the pitch from Barbary, high and outside, ball 1.
$12 to nothing is the score. Shiloh just taking all vengeance and acts of merciless.
That's a ball way inside, behind the batter. Third baseman Yarbrough coming in again to talk to Barbary. Doesn't seem to be settling down here very much. A freshman, varsity level. Must be a very impressive pitcher to be pitching varsity. Behind 9-0. Coach Pruitt seeing the opportunity to bring a freshman in, give him a little bit of experience this early at the varsity level. Barbary looks in for the sign. Count 2-0 here to Chad Heron, and the pitch inside again. 3-0.
Heron was saving a base hit, scored a run. He also struck out his last time up in the 4th inning, and he flied out to center field where Hester made that bang double play and a great catch and getting a man out at home.
There's another ball, high, ball 4. He got a runner at first base now. Still nobody out. He's faced 4 batters, hasn't gotten one out yet. Scott Marty, the left fielder, is now the hitter.
Now batting left fielder number 3, Scott Marty.
And that'll also bring out with Marty, that brings out Pruitt. Pruitt's going to do it to it right here. Going to see what he can do to get inside the man's skull cap, calm down his demeanor. You can tell he's just a bit fluttered right now, as any freshman would be.
It's going to happen sometimes here at the varsity level. He just saw the opportunity to put the freshman in, let him get a little bit of experience. He doesn't seem to be responding quite well, but as a freshman, you've got to imagine that there's a lot of pressure there. And he was just nervous coming in, throwing a lot of pitches high, maybe not bending his back, following through as much as he does down at the freshman level, maybe not as confident. But in a few years, when he's up here at the varsity level, because he does, his build certainly looks impressive, and he looks like in a few years he'll be striking out quite a few hitters up here.
Pruitt's taking a look to see what exactly is going on. He's going over to talk to Chad Davis, or no, excuse me, he's talking to the base umpire. And we're waiting to see what exactly is going on here. They're going to stick with the youngster. They're going to stick with Barbary, and why not? The guy, this is the kind of game that you've got to, no matter what the score is, why not ride out the rabbits? There's nothing to lose. And there's everything to gain with a kid like this that needs that kind of maturity, needs that kind of game experience. And the only way he's going to do it right now is sowing his oats. However wild he is, getting his oats out and getting the frustration out right now.
Another ball inside there, 1-0 now the count to Scott Marty.
That's the 6th ball in a row, as Barbary now tries to settle himself down and get himself into some kind of rhythm.
Barbary working a little bit quicker. There's the pitch, high, 2-0. Chad Heron takes his lead off first base. Barbary checks.
A beautiful night for baseball here. The temperature's got to be about 62 degrees.
There's a called strike.
That breaks the string, strike 1. The Shiloh Generals, Rockdale Bulldogs, combining for 2 wins. and 21 losses in sub-region play, both finishing out disappointing seasons. Strike call, nice pitch.
There's a throw back over to first.
Quick release that time by Stevens. I was pretty impressed with that. He showed some good pivot and fired down to first base.
Might have caught Herron off there napping. Herron might be taking just a bit of a lead to try to exploit the freshman out here on the mound, and Stevens is going to keep him honest. Barbary sets and pitches. Here's a called strike. That's a strikeout, and Barbary picks up his first varsity out via the strikeout.
Well, if I was Barbary, I'd save that game ball right now, put it in my back pocket, mark down number 1K varsity action.
Exactly.
But I guess if you're not a trivia buff like we are, you don't care. You just get that ball and scratch it up a little more, fire away.
Robert Upchurch, the hitter. There's a called strike. 2 strikes in a row there from Barbary, seeming to settle down a little bit, pitching him right over the pipe. Upchurch, the sophomore, against Barbary, the freshman.
Just a little bit of a inside sidelight to this ball game as a ball is taken low to Robert Upchurch. 1 now, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here. In all respect for Shiloh coaching staff, especially Glenn George with a 12-0 lead, he's pulling back on any kind of base stealing to keep this ball game within perspective and not rub the salt in the wound, so to speak, for the Rockdale Bulldogs, which shows a lot of class for Shiloh. And I say that because a lot of coaches wouldn't do that. I've seen some games that get out of hand where they'll just pad the individual statistics and have guys running wild. There's a shot hit to left field. Ormsby going back, making the catch. Ormsby, fine play out there by the left fielder as he throws a ball to the cutoff man. Actually, he misses Acox and throws to Chad Davis, and that holds up Upchurch. Excuse me. Yes, it does. It holds up Upchurch there. Is it Upchurch?
No, it holds up Herron there.
Chad Herron. I'm sorry, Chad Herron. As I'll get it together. As Upchurch flies out to left field, but that holds up Herron there, the catcher, at first base with 2 outs. Kevin, I'm sorry.
All right, Scotty Oakes now the hitter. Chad Herron first base, 2 outs. There's a ground ball to third base. Yarberry over to first, and that's the 3rd out. So Jonathan Barbary in his first varsity inning, 3 runs on 3 hits and a walk, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We'll be back. East 105 AM, Sports Exclusive. Tired of high tire prices? JR's Auto and Tire guarantees the lowest price of any tire on the market. From computer alignments to selecting rugged Dayton steel belted radials, JR's Auto and Tire backs customer satisfaction with the best service in Georgia. But I'm sure you know that by now anyway. JR's Auto and Tire has alignment specials. Only $29.95 for 2-wheel and just $49.95 for 4-wheel drive alignments. Ask for Rick Sharpton and get 5% off already rock-bottom tire prices. JR's Auto and Tire open Monday through Saturday at 2125 Sigmund Road, Conyers.
All right, back here at Rockdale County High School, we want to thank our sponsor, Wilson's Auto Body Shop. And in case you have got a car that you care for, and there's a little ding or a nick, or you need a little paint job or just a little bit of expertise, stop on over and see Barbara and Mr. Wilson. As Wilson's Auto Body, one of the best shops that you'll find anywhere in the East Metro area as far as taking good care of your big investment, regardless of what the price you paid. Nothing is too bad, nothing is too banged up or too scratched up for Wilson's Auto Body Shop. As Danny and Barbara Wilson maintain a family relationship as well as a good, solid service crew for the past 4 or 5 years here in the Rockdale County area. They're located right out there, right off of West Avenue, and up just a bit past the hotel there and off exit 42. Actually, I'm sorry, exit 41 at West Avenue, right up on Ebenezer Road. That's Wilson's Auto Body Shop. All right. Okay, with that reminder, and with that little plug for Wilson's Auto Body, here's Chris Hester stretching his own body. Long, lanky one at that at 6'4". He is the waiting in the wings quarterback for the Rockdale Bulldogs varsity football team as they begin spring practice, as well as Newton and Shiloh and all the prep high school teams in the state of Georgia. I believe May the 5th or 6th. Fly ball straight away center field as Jason Keith continues to mow them down. Center fielder coming on hard for Shiloh. Good catch. Center fielder out there, Scotty Oakes, showing some good speed scattering in here and getting the first put out for the Shiloh Generals. One up and one away there for the Bulldogs now as Hester flies out to center field.
Hester retired there. Fly to center field. Rockdale has not got their leadoff man on base at all during their 6 innings. They've had 4 strikeouts, a ground out, and a fly to center field their first 6 hitters.
5 straight now retired by Keith, who has struck out 9 hitters for Rockdale. The Bulldogs have averaged more than 7 strikeouts a game. That, again, is another problem. Not getting the bat of the ball, not putting it in play, not forcing the defense with any kind of pressure whatsoever.
Ormsby so far in the game, the current hitter Ormsby has struck out twice.
Kevin, you're inside these Rockdale Bulldogs baseball players' minds, and I guess when you're thinking of the dugout as a ball is taken outside, 1-0 the count to Ormsby, you're inside the minds of these guys, and you think about a season that was so optimistic to begin with when they won their first 5 out of 8. They got a brand new ballpark here as far as lights in the concession stands, a lot of excitement, and then you hit the skids, and it's especially for the seniors. You got to feel for them. There's the heartstrings that got to be pulled back a little bit. You think about how these guys have committed themselves for 3-4 years under Coach Marvin Pruitt. The last winning season they saw was back in '87, I believe, 4 AAA champions. And they had some fine talent, and they still continue to manufacture fine talent in this program. Again, it's just the lack of enough coaching ability, enough coaching availability, I should say, as far as getting these gentlemen the proper instruction. One man can't do it all. They finally got Ron Shaven to help out. They need more gentlemen, more teachers to become baseball as we see a base on ball now for Kyle Ormsby as he trots down to first base. Ormsby, one of the seniors that graduate. But getting back to my point, they're going to need more people in this county high school to become part of a coaching staff that can be a definite talent combine to really, really hone in and work on some of these players' weaknesses, because there's some raw talent that just needs to be guided.
There's a ball outside there. Jason Kirkus, Gary, we got kind of carried away with our conversation there and missed the walk to Kyle Ormsby, missed the first couple of pitches there. But as you were saying, this Rockdale County team, as far as the seniors are concerned, you really do have to feel for them. But for the rest of them, as there's a foul off back our way, you have to take it in stride, because a lot of these people will be playing Legion ball this year. A lot of people playing summer ball, different leagues around the summer. They get a chance to hone their skills and just got to have fun these last couple of games in the season, because that's the key now.
They can't be having much fun right now, down by 12 runs as Keith swings a hard fastball and Kirkus waves at it. The count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. But I tell you what, these guys, they'll be back. They'll make their presence felt in a junior college or maybe a Division III school. There's a couple of prospects that are getting letters. One of them, Mickey A. Cox. He's had some interest from several small Division II schools, and hopefully then he can hold out. That's a ball up high, 2-1 now. The count to Jason Kirkus. Kirkus, a single, and he struck out swinging his last time up. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, down by 12. Shot down the left field line. That should stay fair, and it could be extra bases. Over to play, the left fielder coming around third base now. Here's a throw to third base, and it'll be safe. Coming around third, no problem, as Kyle Ormsby gallops around second, and a good play, strong shot double there. As Jason Kirkus, now 2 for 3, showing some lively bat action there on a double. Coming over to make a play, a very good play. The left fielder was Scott Marty, hustling down that left field line and cutting off that ball that could have gone for a triple and scoring Mr. Ormsby there. Kyle Ormsby now at third base. Runners at second and third. We have 1 out. And here comes Sloan Crumbly. Crumbly, base hit, safe on an error. 1 for 2 officially. He's got a big chance now to break that goosebump. The big 0 there on the scoreboard for the Bulldogs. Down by a baker's dozen. Here's a pitch from Keith. In a little bit of a jam now, first time yet. Foul, fly pop right out in front of the infield. Shortstop taking charge out there. Calling off the pitcher, Keith. Good play there. And
Donald Miller for some of his older plays.
Donald Miller vindicating himself for these last couple of plays, making some fine defensive gems. Miller making no bones about it. He can't hit. He's going to have to do it on defense, and he, last 2 times out with fielding chances, he's performed very well, admirably well. And here comes Chris Stevens, the catcher, Stevens. Ground ball to short. Shortstop. And a fine play by Miller as Jason Keith wriggles out of a jam on 2 defensive gems by Don Miller. Side retired for the Bulldogs as they had runners at second and third, and they leave him stranded. So, in the Rockdale 6, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base. The score as we go into the 7th inning here at Rockdale County High School. Shiloh 12, Rockdale nothing. A word from our sponsors on East 105 AM.
going through the time and trouble of bagging your grass clippings, now's the time to quit, because right now at Cow & Ace Hardware, Toro recycling mowers are on sale. Toro recycling mowers have a patented system that cuts clippings into fine pieces and puts them back into your lawn.
But I'm sure you already knew that, too.
In fact, Toro recycling mowers cut clippings so fine they decompose faster, becoming a natural fertilizer for your lawn. So you get a healthy and beautiful lawn without bagging. Have a big lawn? Cow & Ace Hardware has big savings on Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers, too. Every series is available with Toro's exclusive recycler mowing system. And you can buy that Toro with no payments and no interest until October. So hurry down to Cow & Ace Hardware and see the special savings on Toro recycling mowers and Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers. Either way, you'll save while getting a healthy, beautiful lawn without bagging. Now, haven't you done without a Toro long enough? Stop by Cow & Ace Hardware, 1264 Green Street in Conyers.
Classic Billiards has 5,000 square feet to fit 15 pool tables. Back live, Rockdale County High School, Conyers. The time is 9:30, and yes, we still have not had dinner, but the ball game is lightening up a little bit with a 12-0 lead. Shiloh Generals in the top of the 7th inning as the Bulldogs try to make that one last call to respectability here, down by 12. Barbary on the mound, and Kevin Holden on the mic.
David Baranowski in the first pitch, a curveball that goes low. 1-0 to Baranowski as Barbary is pitching now in his second inning. Jason Kirkus moved over to third base, pitched 4 innings, and we'll get a little bit into his line score in a minute. Right now, Barbary with a fastball down low, counts 2-0. Kirkus pitched 4 innings and faced 20 hitters. He gave up 3 runs. All 3 of them were earned on 6 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 2. Here comes the next pitch from Barbary. A fastball in the dirt now, 3-0. We may want to make a mention here that Jason Kirkus' 3 walks all came in his first inning. He seemed to settle down there a little bit, so they moved him in over at third base. And Yarbury is now out of the game. Barbary on the mound with a 3-0 count here to David Baranowski. And the pitch swung on at a 3-0 pitch and made him chase an outside pitch there, Gary. 3-1.
Got the green light. Then why not? You got a 12-run lead. Let these guys just rear back and light up the board a little more if they want to. Take their swings.
Barbary with a 3-1 pitch in the dirt. And that's a walk.
I think Baranowski's a bit upset that he's taking that walk down there. As they say in baseball, you know, especially with aluminum bats, man, that crisp sound of it paying off the aluminum is a lot more exciting than hearing that ball for it take your base. Especially for the listening audience.
Absolutely right. Pat Scarp, the hitter. The first baseman tonight. He's 2 for 4, 2 singles, and a pair of groundouts, 1 to pitcher, 1 to second base. He scored 2 runs and still on a base. There's a pitch inside. Count 1-0 to Pat Scarp. Barbary pitching a second inning here. In his first inning, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, all on the Jason Keith home run. Keith pitching also for Shiloh. There's a fly ball into center field. Center fielder Hester calls for it and has it, and that's out number 1.
That's his 4th put out there. Chris Hester, center fielder. Got a tremendous arm. We got a good chance to see that twice now. And he hopes to really be the factor that maybe will be behind the Bulldogs football team, calling out the signals for the new Scott Woodall regime and the Rockdale Bulldogs, beginning a new era football-wise. Man at first base. Go ahead, Kevin.
Trace Neighbors, the hitter, the DH, hits one right back up the box. Fielded well by Barbary out to second. That's for 1 out. The shortstop, Acox, handled the throw. And Baranowski broke up the double play, so we have a 1-6 force play. Neighbors reaches on a fielder's choice, 2 outs now, runners at first, and Barbary made that heads-up reflexes play back on the pitcher's mound.
A very good play by Barbary, but I think Acox is cleaning out his drawers a bit because, after all, he almost had his legs taken out from under him on a wide throw to second base. So Acox breathing a bit easier now as he plays a little deeper. I'm sure he's going to have a little chat with Barbary and say, hey, come on, kid, don't kill me here.
Boyd Green, the right fielder. First pitch inside, 1-0.
He made a great play. He was very acrobatic, just getting the ball and keeping it in play and keeping it in his webbing. I'm talking about Acox there as he jumped over a hurdling attempt at second base as a base runner there for the Baranowski there, barreling into second base, and that's a big specimen.
That's 2-0 now on Boyd Green. Boyd Green so far in the game has reached base all 4 times, once on a fielder's choice, 2 singles, and a walk. He scored a run. That run was scored as the hitter hitting behind him, Jason Keith, hit a 3-run homer in the 6th, and that's the runs Barbary's given up so far, as there's a pitch outside, 3-0 now. Barbary working to his 11th hitter so far in his second inning. He has had 1 strikeout. His first varsity out was a strikeout. As we mentioned, Barbary pitching his first game at the varsity level. There's a swing and a miss. 3-1. And Coach George of Shiloh having the hitters swinging away 3-0 with a 12-0 lead.
I gotta like it. I gotta like it. A radio journalist's dream. Just let him play. No strategy involved here. Just go after it. Green light all the way.
There's a ball outside. Not much purpose in that right there. Catcher throwing the ball over the first baseman's head on a walk. And now we've got second and third as the right fielder throws the ball in. That's Gary Klumpp out there. Chris Stevens may have had a little bit of a mental lapse there, thinking maybe the count was 2-1. That was ball 4 over there in the dirt, and Stevens looking to catch the runner off balance. Didn't need it because the runner would have automatically gone to second base. Ball goes over the first baseman's head, and we have second and third.
Well, I'm glad you're here to clear that up for us. My gosh, he's had me as much of a bouillabaisse mix-up as he is down there. I kind of lost it for a second there. Chris Stevens.
That was ball 4.
All right, well.
All right, okay. We got our hitter now, Jason Keith. Runners at second and third now with 2 outs. The new defensive replacement at first base is Matt Mullis. That's for Rockdale. And that's 7 errors on the game and 5 by Rockdale, something you can't ignore as a team that averages 2 errors a game. The count now 1-0 to Jason Keith. Another ball in the dirt there, 2-0 now, Jason Keith. As the error by the catcher Chris Stevens makes 5 for Rockdale and 7 on the game. The two Shiloh errors coming from Donnie Miller, the shortstop. And the 2-0 pitch to Jason Keith is called strike. The outside corner, that's 2-1.
Keith, what a game he's pitched so far. And, of course, he's helped himself admirably at the plate as well.
There's a foul tip, the catcher's mitt. Count 2-2.
Can't forget about that 3-run homer that just in that last inning facing Barbary the first time. And then we got a little problem as the balls get by again. Aycock's making a throw to home plate. We got some confusion in the defensive side for the Bulldogs and pulling up and looking like he's going to score, but holding there is Green at third base, but didn't score.
We've got to give you a little bit of background on that because we were caught so far off guard. We were filling some time there, and this whole play occurred. We didn't even have a chance to announce it. Stevens was throwing the ball back to Barbary, and he may be having some mental problems after that throw over the first baseman's head. The throw before had bounced in front of Barbary, and then that one went by Barbary and by the shortstop, and all of a sudden the runner at third took off for home, the runner at second for third, and the throw came in, sailed over Stevens' head. So another error leads to another run. And there's a blooper. Chad Davis, the second baseman, has it and gets the out.
Mercifully out of the inning here. My God.
Out number 3 there for the Shiloh Generals. They scored 1 run without a hit, and they left 2 men on base. So going into the bottom of the 7th inning, 13-0, Shiloh up on East 105.
Glidden Paints has April promotions going on at all. Another word from one of our East 105 patrons here. From the break to the sinking glass bank shot. Don't forget about that Conyers Classic Billiards. Get that professional pool hall feeling as Robert and Deborah Phillips are enjoying another year here in Rockdale County, their 3rd season of billiard pool hall play. Whether you're just an amateur billiard buff or a slick pro that wants to play in those United States pool professional tournaments on Tuesday nights in Conyers Classic Pool, come on out. Conyers Classic Pool. 760-9464 is the number. You've got plenty of tables. If you play for the fun of the game or you're a serious pro. It's a family-oriented atmosphere. No alcohol served. And some of the best pool playing you'll see in this county as well as in the 4 to 5 county area coming to play on these Tuesday night pool tournaments as well as throughout the course of the week. You can find it there at Classic Billiards. Just off exit 41, West Avenue on Iris Drive. Right off Iris Drive, one of the service roads in Rockdale County. And here we go. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Number 1. We've got our lead. We've got our
Ryan Allman.
I'm sorry, we have a pinch hitter now. Ryan Allman coming in. Ryan Allman and here to bring down the final 7th inning frame, bringing us down the stretch run as Rockdale takes one last stab at Jason Keith cruising on a shutout. Kevin Holden.
All right, Gary, the first pitch to Ryan Allman, the pinch hitter for Derek Clark, is in the dirt. Ball 1-0. Jason Keith pitching a terrific ball game so far with 9 strikeouts, none in the last 2 innings. But he certainly seems not to have tired any, pitching a 4-hit shutout. Here comes another pitch. Curveball outside, count 2-0. Ryan Allman.
One more word about those classic billiards. They're open to 2 a.m. during the week. They have all-night pool playing Friday night. So tonight, open till 2 a.m. Get out there.
There's a ball inside. 3-0 now to count. Keith falling behind the first hitter, and this would be, as we mentioned before, the first time that a Rockdale leadoff hitter would get on base here. They've been 0 for 6 so far with 4 strikeouts, a ground out and a fly out of their leadoff hitters in those 6 innings. There's a called strike. 3-1, the old automatic.
Keith just barreling down. He wants to preserve that goose egg. He's pitched well this season. I guess he's won about 3 or 4 games for the Generals. Rugged, rock, solid athlete there. Big pistons, drives off that leg, pushes off that mound. Another strike there. We got a payoff pitch coming up, Kevin.
All right, 3-2 now to Ryan Allman. Interesting pitch here to the leadoff hitter. Let's see what kind of pitch he throws. Given the situation, he hasn't really been in this situation a lot. The payoff pitch, fastball swung on, missed, and that's strikeout number 10.
Shades of the old Nolan Ryan. Set him up with 3 balls and then throw 3 straight pearls. 1 up and 1 away.
Number 8, Ken Carter.
All right, we have another pinch hitter here for the pitcher Barbary. This is Kenan Carter. Kenan Carter on the year. Let's get some statistics on him. 263 on the year. 3 RBIs and a sacrifice. 2 walks as opposed to 10 strikeouts. Keith shakes off a sign, looks in, and pitches. Swung on, missed. 0-1.
10th strikeout for Jason Keith. Now the Shiloh Bulldogs. They're opting for their 3rd sub-region win against 6 losses. Looking for their 10th win overall. The Dogs trying to snap a 14-game skid. That just keeps on building.
There's a ball outside there. The count 1-1 to Kenan Carter.
Dogs have games left Wednesday, tomorrow against Berkmar here at home. And then, of course, they got the makeup game that was rained out last week. Rained out last week against Duluth. That'll be coming on probably Thursday or Friday. We'll have word from Coach Pruitt about that.
1-1 pitch swung on, missed. 1-2 now.
We hope to have Coach Marvin Pruitt up here for the post-game show to wind us down with a Kevin Holden post-game show and have the wrap-up in the stats for both teams.
All right. Kenan Carter in the batter's box. Keith looking in for the sign. The windup and the pitch. Swung on, hit to the right. Out of play right behind us here in the press box. Count still 1-2. Jason Keith been staying ahead of the hitters, except, of course, for Ryan Allman. He seems to be ahead of the hitters. And Rockdale, 10 strikeouts. 5 of their first 7 hitters have struck out. As Allman calls time here. Steps back in now. Keith is ready. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. There's strikeout number 11.
Well, that marks the 7th straight time, Kevin, that the leadoff man has not gotten on base for Rockdale. And that's exactly what is one of the major problems here during the course of the losing streak. You got to get that leading lady on base to start the table set and to get the team fired up here as far as a catalyst. Someone's going to have to take it and get on base and get the spirit going here. Cause some momentum here for the offense for Rockdale.
The last hope here, Mickey Acox. And here's the pitch. Fastball in the dirt. Count 1-0 now to Mickey Acox. Rockdale's last hope down 13-0. So far only 4 hits but 6 errors. And Shiloh 13 runs so far on 4 hits. Some defensive miscues of their own as Keith with the pitch. Fastball outside. Count now 2-0. Mickey Acox was hitting .267, 16 hits and 60 at-bats coming in. Keith is ready, and here's the pitch. High and outside, now 3-0.
Those are not the numbers that Mr. Acox had in mind this season. And I'm sure he'd use that for corrective justice when the summer season comes for the post-77 team.
3-0, swung on, missed. Both coaches have their kids swinging, 3-0. Now it's now 3-1. Game going along pretty quickly here as opposed to the beginning of the game going on very slow, coming up on 10 o'clock, and Keith delivers the pitch. There's a called strike, 3-2. Got a payoff pitch coming.
Good curveball that time. Good slider as Keith on 3-1 surprised Acox coming in with that off-speed pitch, catching the inside corner on Acox.
Here's Keith, 3-2. Swung on, hit up into right field. Right fielder Green under it. Has it. And that's the final out for the Rockdale Bulldogs. Go 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts in this last inning. And that's the end of the ball game. Shiloh picks up the victory 13-0. We'll go back to the studio for some messages, and we'll be back on East 105 AM with the sports exclusive Rockdale versus Shiloh.
It's quality in car care. Back here live, Rockdale County High School, the final score 13-0. The Bulldogs lose number 15 in a row as their sub-region record drops to 0 and I believe 12. 0-12 in sub-region. They've got 2 more games left, one against Duluth, a non-sub-region game, and of course they got the last game in sub-region South play, and that's Berkmar tomorrow. It'll be a 5:30 start right here at Rockdale County High School. One of those things, Kevin Holden, as we approach our post-game show, you've got these statistics in front of you. It's a dismal story for the Rockdale Bulldogs as Coach Pruitt has them down the first baseline. He's given them a long chat. And we expect either Coach Pruitt or the assistant, Ron Shaven, to come up here and give us some post-game comments. But, Kevin, take it over and let's take a look. Before I do that, let me just make sure we mention one sponsor here. Kevin Holden is getting his stats together for the final post-game rundown. Plaza Cleaners. Plaza Cleaners has spring fashions in full swing and strut here. All of your dresses and suits must be ready for those family gatherings and the proms, and if not, Doyle and Suzanne Dickerson are waiting for you and all your dry cleaning needs and alterations and shoe repairs at their store with the store hours on Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Plaza Cleaners in the Crossroads Shopping Center, 875 Flat Shoals Road, Conyers. Call 922-0078 and ask for Doyle Dickerson at Plaza Cleaners, one of our fine sponsors here at East 105 AM for the broadcast. We've got Ron Shaven in the broadcast booth waiting to talk to us. But, Kevin, give us the lowdown there for both teams, Shiloh and Rockdale, starting with Shiloh first.
All right, Gary, Shiloh, 13 runs on 14 hits in the game. They made 2 errors, both of them by the shortstop, Donnie Miller. And they also, the Shiloh team, left 9 runners on base. For Rockdale, no runs, 4 hits, and 6 errors. And they left 9 runners on base as well. The winner, of course, Jason Keith. He pitched 7 innings, facing 28 hitters, giving up no runs, 4 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 11. That's an amazing walk-strikeout ratio. That'll certainly help you out in the ball games. And one final note, Jonathan Barbary, 2 innings pitched. He did face 12 batters in those 2 innings, gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned, on only 2 hits. 1 home run, the 3-run homer by the pitcher, Jason Keith. 3 walks and 1 strikeout. And, Gary, if you had to pick a star of the game, it has to be Jason Keith. 11 strikeouts and a 3-run home run.
No question about it. Senior right-hander, fine athlete. He's a 3-sport star, strong. He never showed any sign of weakening. He showed plenty of stamina, especially in the middle part of the game when Rockdale still had a chance to make it a ball game at 5-6-0, and then, of course, it jumped to 8-0 in the second inning. But by the 3rd, 4th inning, it looked like he really picked up stride and never lost his form and just became a bull worker out there, getting more gas and more pep on that fastball as the game progressed. And, of course, that 3-run homer just iced the cake right there.
Absolutely, and one other thing we want to make a mention of, 8 errors in the ball game, 2 each by Yarbury, Miller, and Stevens, and 1 by Ormsby and 1 by Crumley. And errors will take apart a defense as well as an offense because it leads to unearned runs.
Well, the game just became one of those things where, as the game progressed, the more mental lapses, the more disarray this team showed as far as the breakdowns at catcher, 2 bad throws, not mentally concentrating. Stevens didn't even know it was a ball for, and he threw it down to first base. First baseman's not even waiting for it, and of course it goes into right field, and it scores a couple of runs. So it's one of those things where it just grabs at your goat if you're a coach, Ron Chafin or Marvin Pruitt, and it just kind of tailspins from there. Kevin, you got some more sponsors identified.
All right, we want to say one more thing about JR's Auto and Tire. Tired of high tire prices? JR's Auto and Tire guarantees the lowest price of any tire on the market. From computer alignments to selecting rugged Dayton steel-belted radials, JR's Auto and Tire backs customer satisfaction with the best service in Georgia. JR's Auto and Tire has alignment specials, only $29.95 for 2-wheel and just $49.95 for 4-wheel drive alignments. Ask for Rick Sharpton and get 5% off already rock-bottom tire prices. JR's Auto and Tire open daily and Saturdays at 2125 Sigmund Road in Conyers. For an appointment, that's JR's Auto and Tire at 922-0667. And, Gary, I know you have your post-game interview here with Coach Chafin.
Before that, we got one more roundup with Plaza Cleaners. Of course, the prom queen and king are just around the corner here. With that big dance coming up, you got to think about spring fashions in full swing. And so make sure that girls, all your dresses, and guys, all your suits are pleated, pampered, and pressed. So make sure you see Doyle and Suzanne Dickerson as they wait for you and all your dry cleaning needs, alterations, and shoe repairs. Their store hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Plaza Cleaners in the Crossroads Shopping Center, 875 Flat Shoals Road, Conyers. Call 922-0078. All right. With me, and stay with me now, East 105 AM Sports Exclusive, David White, our producer, Ron Chavin. Coach Chavin's here, going to give us a few comments on just exactly what it must be like in that dugout right now. And you've been there since day one of that first game loss against Heritage 7-0 way back in the Cherry Blossom Classic weekend, and it just never stopped since. It's one of those insurmountable things where a team this mired in a slump, what exactly can a coach do to try to get some confidence, try to gel some kind of feeling of cohesiveness?
Well, Gary, you know, every time that as short a season as you play, when you get caught in a slump like what we're in right now, everybody on the team starts trying to press, and everybody's trying to do too much. And mainly Coach Pruitt and myself, we've been trying to get the players to relax, to go out there and have a good time, but mentally to stay in the ball game. Now, we hadn't, this is, I think, our 14th straight loss. And, everybody on the team's pressing a lot. And we're going to come out here tomorrow afternoon. Coach Pruitt and myself have not given up on the players at one bit. And we're going to come out here tomorrow. We want all these seniors. We got 9 seniors that are on the team this year that have given a lot and meant a lot to this program. And we want them to go out feeling good about themselves. And the main thing is whether, you win a ball game or lose a ball game, the main thing is you got to maintain a winning attitude the whole time. And relatively speaking, the majority of the time, our kids have kept their heads up and have played hard.
You make some good points there, and of course, when you're used to a winning program with the girls' basketball, coaching here at Rockdale County High School, and something like this, when the guys are down on their haunches, you can see sometimes the infielders with the balls, the base-on balls, with some of the wild pitching that was going on tonight. You could see that inning by inning, they just fell back on their haunches and fell back on their heels. And they come to the dugout, you try to give them a pep talk, you try to give these guys the inkling that, hey, we still have a chance. We still have a chance to get back in this ball game. Our bats are not this bad, but when you're hitting 202 or a little more than 200, you start to really, really press in the batter's box. Just from the standpoint of coaching and watching these guys at the plate, what has been the one consistent problem here offensively that has caused these guys to strike out as much as eight times a game on the average?
Well, Gary, I think one of our big problems as far as hitting the ball is, to score runs, you got to be able to put the ball in play. And we're probably, like you said, averaging striking out 8 or 9 times a ball game. And really, it's hard to tell. We'll go out here and we'll hit the ball. I mean, we'll take batting practice, and we'll be hitting the ball all over the ballpark, and then we get in the ball game. And I think one thing is a lot of our players aren't concentrating when they're up there. They, you have a 2-1 count. And swinging at pitches they can't drive, or you're hitting the count 2-0, and from playing baseball, you say if you've got to have yourself locked in, you've got to know where the ball can be for you to get a chance to drive the baseball somewhere. And a lot of times, our kids aren't locked into where they're able to drive the ball. I mean, they'll swing at anything near the plate, although it might not be a pitch that they can do anything with.
All right, last question. What do we got coming up with the young talent? Let's mention some names, and maybe that's going to give some hope and some grit back in this program and get it back on its winning ways in 8-4-A baseball.
Well, Gary, we have a young pitcher that I don't know if we'll pitch any tomorrow or not, but we have a young pitcher who's on the 9th grade this year that pitched for me, Barry Fowler. He looks like he's going to be a real good up-and-coming ball player. We've got a bunch of sophomores that played on our JV team this year that are going to have to step in and fill some roles. I mean, next year's going to be a completely different, thing than what we got this year. This year we were a predominantly senior team. Like I said, we had 9 seniors. Next year, we're going to have 5 or 6 seniors. And we've got to have some people to step in, provide us with good leadership. And the main thing is that, these kids have got to love the game of baseball. And, they do love the game. And when you're mired in a slump like what we're mired in, and been mired in the, batting slump and, in a streak like what we're in, the people, they've just, these kids, and it's tough to do, but, the kids have just got to go out there and they've got to relax, and each one of them take care of, doing the business themselves and quit trying to, they're going to put so much pressure on themselves. I mean, our kids are so tense, and we're putting so much pressure on our pitchers, being in this hyper slump. Our pitchers feel like every pitch they make has got to be a perfect pitch that nobody can do anything that the other team can't hit, and my fielders feel like every ball that's hit to them is that they've got to make the play or it's going to be the end of the world. And what we've got to do, and hopefully tomorrow we'll do it, is just the kids have just got to come out here and relax and have a good time.
I hope they do that, Coach, and we want to thank you for coming up here, Coach Ron Shaven. We're going to go back to the studio, East 105 AM. We're just going to have three more commercial breaks, and we're going to come back with some final comments from senior Chad Davis before we sign off. East 105 AM with the final score, Shiloh 13, Rockdale nothing. We'll be right back in the Rockdale press box after these messages on East 105 AM.
If you're still going through the time and trouble of bagging your grass clippings, now's the time to quit, because right now at Cow & Ace Hardware, Toro Recycler mowers are on sale. Toro Recycler mowers have a patented system that cuts clippings into fine pieces and puts them back into your lawn. In fact, Toro Recycler mowers cut clippings so fine they decompose faster, becoming a natural fertilizer for your lawn, so you get a healthy and beautiful lawn without bagging. Have a big lawn? Cow & Ace Hardware has big savings on Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers, too. Every series is available with Toro's exclusive recycler mowing system, and you can buy that Toro with no payments and no interest until October. So hurry down to Cow & Ace Hardware and see the special savings on Toro recycler mowers and Toro wheel horse tractors and riding mowers. Either way, you'll save while getting a healthy, beautiful lawn without bagging. Now, haven't you done without a Toro long enough? Stop by Cow & Ace Hardware, 1264 Green Street in Conyers.
Classic Billiards has 5,000 square feet to fit 15 pool tables and a video game room, along with a hot grill snack bar serving fresh chili dogs and turkey burgers. Tuesdays is United States Pool Players Tournament night, along with regular pool playing hours from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. weekdays and 1 p.m. to 2 a.m. Saturdays. Sunday hours are from 6 p.m. to midnight. Classic Billiards, 1211 Royal Drive, Conyers, just off exit 41 on Interstate 20 eastbound. Classic Billiards, where family-oriented pool is played for the fun of the game. No alcohol permitted, please.
I'm Richard Warner on the Money Line. I'll keep you up to date on the latest financial information and news. It's the Money Line twice a day on WPBE Conyers, where we mean business.
Back here at Rockdale County High School, thank you very much. East 105 AM. We appreciate all the listeners enjoying this fine ball game tonight. Of course, it wasn't fine for Rockdale senior Chad Davis. If you're Shiloh fans, obviously you got to be tickled to death. You listeners back in Snellville, Lawrenceville, this team walks away with his third sub-region win very convincingly. Jason Keith on a fine pitch gem, 13 strikeouts. Here's a team, Chad Davis, you've had to pretty much sums up what Rockdale's problems have been. The injuries, players that normally don't play certain positions have had to take a role they're not normally accustomed to. And I'm leading to you and alluding to the fact that you've had to pitch a lot more than you really anticipated, and it took you out of your natural positions defensively at second base and also at third. Talk about that as far as what you've had to do to kind of like patch the holes in what was definitely a downtrodden team with some key injuries early on.
Well, when you got injuries, you just have to fill in the roles. Yeah, I've tried as best I could this year and just try to get in there and relax. And like Coach Shagan said, not try to press too hard. You just got to try to fill in the roles.
Well, when you fill in the roles, of course, you got to patch up the holes, and all this means is sometimes things just kind of spiral, like we talked about before. Coach Shaven brought up the point that these guys are pressing. They just got to learn with the record we have now, nothing to lose, just especially for the seniors. Guys, just pin your ears back, go out there, be aggressive, have some fun. Are you having fun? I mean, obviously with a 14-game losing streak, now it's close to 15, I believe, and winless in sub-region play. This is not only a very disappointing senior year for you, but deep down inside, are you still, let's say, finding some enjoyment in the game and enjoying playing for the Rockdale County Bulldogs?
Yeah, well, speaking for myself, I've been enjoying coming out here, and I'm having fun. A lot of the players are pressing a little hard, but I still think they're having fun. And we just got to learn to get up there and relax and just put the ball and play. You can't expect to win when you have 11 strikeouts. Not taking nothing away from their pitcher, but you just got to put the ball in play and relax, okay?
What seems to be, from your playing standpoint, what seems to be the biggest problem as far as hitting fundamentals, the execution? Are we just not being patient at the plate these last several games, especially some of the lopsided scores that continue this tailspin?
Yeah, well, when you get behind, it's hard to come back. But like Coach Shaven said, when you get behind in the count, you just got to put the ball in play. When you get when a pitcher gets 2-0, and you got to look for a pitch to drive. You just can't settle for a ground out. Here, when you're down 5-0, just can't do that.
What about yourself? One last question. You're a senior, of course, and you've got big plans in college. Is baseball any one of them?
Well, I would hope so, but in the way it looks now, I'm going down to look at a few colleges, but I just don't know how it's going to go. I don't know about the Legion program. It's a tough program to play in, but I'm going to go talk to a few colleges and see what I can do.
Well, you hit, obviously putting a lot of duress on your arm. You've hit 224 this year, which is below your expectations, but you fielded fairly well, mostly from the second base position, I guess. And, of course, pitching 15, 16 innings. I guess, were you prepared for that mentally and physically? Did you think that you get that many innings pitched?
Well, at the beginning, I didn't really know. Coach was relying a lot on Jason Kirkus, and he did a fine job. But with Kevin Miller's injury, I had to come in, and I was prepared, but my arm's a little sore now, I guess, from not pitching earlier in the season. But I'm going to come out here tomorrow and try to get a win tomorrow.
Leadership. Does this team have it? Do you sense it? Are the seniors filling that void?
Well, there's a couple that's trying to pull around some leadership, but there's just still a little bit too much goofing off, and you're right, there's not enough leadership.
Well, hopefully that can be rectified. I know that you're very serious, and clowning around is not a forte for Chad Davis. And what your plans are, what are your vocational career and ambitions next year?
Well, I'm sure going to college, and I've been looking at West Georgia, and I'm going to see how baseball goes, but I'm sure going to stick in there and try to keep up the grades.
Any career plans? What's your...
Well, I'm just going to look for something, looking around computers, something to do with that.
Why not? And when you get there, would you send one over to East 105 AM?
Sure.
All right, Chad Davis, thanks a lot for coming up, Chad. A multifaceted player here. We're going to have some signing off here. First of all, Kevin Holden. Kevin, we've got a few more sponsors to elicit here, and then make sure that people get their plug. Chad Davis, thanks a lot for being up here with us.
All right, Gary, first of all, we've got Plaza Cleaners with spring fashions in full swing. Are all of your dresses and suits ready for those family gatherings? If not, Doyle and Suzanne Dickerson are waiting for all your dry cleaning, alterations, and shoe repairs. Their store hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Plaza Cleaners in the Crossroads Shopping Center, 875 Flat Shoals Road in Conyers. And also, JR's Auto and Tire. Are you tired of high tire prices? JR's Auto and Tire guarantees the lowest price of any tire on the market. From computer alignments to selecting rugged Dayton steel-belted radials, JR's Auto and Tire backs customer satisfaction with the best service in Georgia. JR's Auto and Tire has alignment specials. Only $29.95 for two-wheel and just $49.95 for four-wheel drive alignments. Ask for Rick Sharpton to get 5% off already rock-bottom tire prices. JR's Auto and Tire open daily and Saturdays at 2125 Sigmund Road in Conyers. For an appointment, that's JR's Auto and Tire at 922-0667.
All right, before we wind it up with Wilson's Auto Body and a message from Classics Billiards, Kevin Holden, first of all, I want to say thank you to David White, our producer, Michael Goff, the general manager, and all the staff members there at East 105 AM. Certainly the Booster Club members at Rockdale High School have done a fine job helping us out getting these three broadcasts down there in Rockdale County. East 105 AM listeners, we want to thank you very much for taking part of your Tuesday evening here with us at East 105 AM. The lights, a beautiful spectrum here, a beautiful scene. If you can just see it, I'll try to describe it to you. We've got 8 lampposts out here with candle lights that are just burning, making it seem like 12 noon, high noon out here at Rockdale High School. A fine facility, as we've seen history here at Rockdale High School with its first night game broadcast at Rockdale County High School. The Booster Club members with $30,000 putting the money to good use with the concession stand, the press box, and, of course, Mike Acox and the entire Booster Club members were very committed and dedicated this year. We want to thank them for their support and a job well done in a beautiful baseball diamond that surely was one of the classics here in Subregion South, A Quad A. Kevin, it's been a real pleasure working with you these 3 games, and of course our regular season is done. Heritage marches on to the playoffs, and Rockdale's season is going to be finished by week's end. And congratulations, nice job. It was a pleasure working with you.
Well, Gary, the pleasure's mine, and I hope that next year, as Heritage and Rockdale will go on to successful seasons for sure, we'll be able to cover some more games here on East 105.
From Wilson's Auto Body, Cowan Ace Hardware, Green Street Restaurant, Glidden Paints, Classic Billiards, JR Auto and Tire, and Plaza Cleaners. This is Gary Klumpp, Kevin Holden on East 105 AM. Good night.